It's empty now, it's discipline. Different hunger, different diet, being honest. I'm being honest, it's just a I've been fasting poison, can't forget the lies, cutting off the things that had me lose my spine. Had to stop my ego just to feed my mind. God, universe, nature, source, all aligned. Fasting pussy, fasting nights, I self-destruct. Fasting people only calling when I'm up. I was chasing highs, now I'm chasing what's enough. Sometimes the hunger teach you how to trust. I was feeding habits that was feeding on me. Empty calories from the people that don't see. Every voice got a voice when you're lonely. Every silence hit louder when you need peace. I was touching everything except the truth. Loving instant pleasure, scared of long-term proof. Shortcuts only shorten up your lifespan. Fast swimming, fast money, fast planes. Had to slow it down, had to detox. Heart full of static, couldn't hear God. Universe talking, but I read like Braille. Hands on the wheel and my faith frail. I'm running hungry, don't mean broke. Sometimes it mean that you're finally woke. If I don't touch it, then I know I won't fall. Fasting just to get control, cause I feel like I lost my mind. Now I'm on the road, I've been fasting poison. Can't forget the lies, cutting off the things that had me lose my spine. Had to stop my ego just to feed my mind. God, universe, nature, source, all aligned. Fasting pussy, fasting nights, I self-destruct. Fasting people only calling when I'm up. I was chasing highs, now I'm chasing what's enough. Sometimes the hunger teaches you how to trust. I had to ask for help, that was the hardest flex. Pride way more than the chains on my neck. Acting like I always have my shit together, but my spirit catch it, whether under pressure. I've been on my own vice, yeah I own it. Sometimes I was a pussy, I was folding, running from accountability. Calling comfort, compatibility. Everybody preaching love, but they charging fees. Everybody got opinions, no receipts. FastingFake support, fake advice. If it don't nourish me, leave it on the big guns. That's the code, and it keep me straight. God for the guidance, universal fate. Nature be the mirror, source kept my faith. I know I'm not perfect, I'm only human. I just learn pain come with tuition. I don't starve myself, I just choose my direction. Discipline is love in a different sentence. You hear what I'm saying? This is what I'm living by, and I've been fasting poison. Can't forget the lies, cutting off the things that had me lose my spine. Had to stop my ego just to feed my mind. God, universe, nature, source, all aligned. Fasting pussy, fasting nights, I self-destruct. Fasting people only calling when I'm up. I was chasing highs, now I'm chasing what's enough. Sometimes the hunger teach you how to trust. Cuts only shorten up your lifespan. Fast swimming, fast money, fast planes. Had to slow it down, had to detox. Heart full of static, couldn't hear God. Universe talking, but I read like Braille. Hands on the wheel and my faith frail. I'm running hungry, don't mean broke. Sometimes it mean that you're finally woke. If I don't touch it, then I know I won't fall. Fasting just to get control, cause I feel like I lost my mind. Now I'm on the road, I've been fasting poison. Can't forget the lies, cutting off the things that had me lose my spine. Had to stop my ego just to feed my mind. God, universe, nature, source, all aligned. Fasting pussy, fasting nights, I self-destruct. Fasting people only calling when I'm up. I was chasing highs, now I'm chasing what's enough. Sometimes the hunger teaches you how to trust. I had to ask for help, that was the hardest flex. Pride way more than the chains on my neck. Acting like I always have my shit together, but my spirit catch it, whether under pressure. I've been on my own vice, yeah I own it. Sometimes I was a pussy, I was folding, running from accountability. call them comfort, compatibility. Everybody preaching love, but they charging fees. Everybody got opinions, no receipts. FastingFake support, fake advice. If it don't nourish me, leave it on the big guns. That's the code, and it keep me straight. God for the guidance.
Always take the wrong scene. Hold on. You're not in there. Hold on. You're still not in here. Because there is 2 Lazes, apparently. Hold on. What the hell? Ah, your name is FastingFake. Dang.
FastingFake Laz. So the whole time you didn't hear me when I said it's this and that with Laz and Vince.
Okay, before
Vince and
that,
Laz.
your little ritual.
Let's do it.
Talk to me, what's going on right now? I just wanna know. You seem like there's nothing wrong. Somebody's gotta help you out. Tell me what's on your mind. Issues you can solve alone. Success is what I want from us. Sometimes you gotta hear me out. Easier said than done. I can't spell issues without you.
Welcome to FastingFake, my personal therapy session with my therapist, Vince Sanat. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, he managed to bring me back.
Fuck, I'm so excited that you're back, man. You really made my day today because I was feeling it. Just fucking. I'll get into it. I think I'll get into it. I'm gonna go full retard today.
Yeah, so let's go to the other scene then, huh?
Yeah, let's bring up our guests. Our co-host, we got Orwellian. What's up?
What's going on, fellas?
And a very special guest, Mike Peltier. I've been trying to get Mike on for weeks, actually months. Keeps
What's up?
dogging
Thanks
me.
for having me. Appreciate it.
What's up, Mike?
Months.
So a little bit of background. Mike and I go way back to first year, first week, probably first day of university.
First day, I remember the first thing you said to me. You said,
was the first thing
we have the same watch."
Dude, I remember that.
It was like a fake tag that we had both bought off the streets in like downtown Toronto.
Oh, fuck. Dude, that's so funny. So Mike and I also we shared a shower during 9/11. We talked about this in our translucent conversation because we both remember coming out of the shower during 9/11. You know how everybody remembers?
Oh, I did that too. The second tower. I came out of the shower too.
Yeah.
No shitting you.
Yeah. So everybody remembers where they are. So I remembered coming out of the shower, but he remembers coming out of the shower. We talked about this on our episode. I had him on episode 9. So we're like, okay, clearly it traumatized us so much that we were both fucking in the shower together. But I don't know how we did it back then. We probably had like straws or something. No, but yeah, Mike, really appreciate you showing up, man. We're gonna keep it pretty tame today. We have some specifics.
Don't keep it tame on my account. I'm good.
Okay, we'll still go full retard, but we want to it's actually an important topic that you're a subject matter expert on. So Mike and I have been pretty much talking weekly for almost 2 years now. Hey, buddy.
Yeah, I think it might actually be longer than that. But it's been a long time, yeah.
Yeah.
It has been longer than that for sure, actually.
And it's just like a check-in. Like we just made a commitment to each other. Like, hey man, like we're gonna do a check-in. We set a Google Calendar and then we call and we talk for half an hour. And like Vince, kind of like you, like it's no real. Actually, we do the how are you, right?
Oh, you guys do that.
Yeah, we do. But it's a real one because we actually gauge. And then it's very rare. Yeah, it's very rare where we're actually like both like really good, and then we're like, all right, well, like what's going on?
It happens. It's actually a really cool thing because, like, I think what you guys are alluding to is most people when they say, oh, how's it going? You're just like, oh, good, you good. But with us, it's like, Laz asks me how I'm doing, and I take a second, I think about it. I'm like. Actually pretty bad.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you actually get to say how you really feel.
And it's honest.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the cool thing about it is like it'll happen where many weeks in a row, both of us will be like pretty bad. And then one of us will be feeling good for a bit, and then we know it's just a matter of time until both of us are good again. And then we'll have that call, we're both good, we're back.
Yeah, because you can't be in the bad forever. It has to end somewhere, right, Aurelian? Yeah. It has to end sometime.
And I think one of the other things that's really important that you mentioned is it's become very kind of typical, like it's just an exercise that we do. And it's cursory. There really isn't a feeling behind it. You're just checking in on a guy, like, hey, how's it going?
It's a script.
Hope things. Yes, it is. It definitely is a script. So that's the way that we actually use it now. And unfortunately,
the only way we can become honest. Yeah, but Aurelian, the only way we can get closer to authenticity is to drop these scripts, cut them off. These bullshit scripts,
or really ask.
Uncomfortable. Or be uncomfortable, because what it is if you're really asking and you truly want to know, you need to be prepared for an answer that might knock you out of your comfort zone. Yeah. But at the end of the day, are you really concerned about this person? That's the question you answer for yourself. And if you are, okay, let's be uncomfortable together then. Because I care about you.
My thing is, don't devalue that thing, or don't water it down. We should mean it when we say it. You know what I mean?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, don't say it if you don't mean it. I agree. Yeah.
Right? That's all.
So over these, I guess, even 3 years, and I think part of it, I went to visit Mike when he was here up by his parents' cottage. And right away, we didn't have a lot of time. So, I got into it, the stuff that I was dealing with. Because we haven't talked for years at that time, because he was living in California and still is with his beautiful family. But by me being vulnerable, he got vulnerable and right away. And then we're like, oh shit. Okay. So a lot has happened and we've had our own, quiet struggles. And as men, you usually don't ask for help. You just try to fucking figure it out. So Mike's gone through the full gamut, and I'll put the episode 9 under here. It's a really, really powerful episode. He's gone all the way to being vegan for a while, vegetarian and even vegan, and then kind of came out of that. I don't know if you called it a psyop.
How long, Mike? How long were you vegan?
Well, I went from standard American diet to try to eat healthy because I wasn't feeling well, to pescatarian because I thought that was better for me. Still felt horrible. Went to vegetarian because I thought that was better for me. Still felt horrible, so I went to vegan because I thought that was better for me. Felt absolutely awful. I was vegan for about 8 months. And then I just heard Joe Rogan talking about Jordan Peterson and his family and how they had gotten so sick, and then they went on this carnivore diet. Yeah, and they had really similar symptoms to me. And I was vegan at the time, but it was 4 o'clock in the morning, and I just couldn't sleep. I was in so much pain. And I was probably the last person you would ever think would go carnivore, because in my mind, vegan was the healthiest thing to do. But I was so desperate that I'm I'm just going to try this. And within 36 hours, this horrible nausea and stomach pain that I had had for so long just completely went away. And then slowly over time, I got much, much better. I had really, really bad, horrible gut and stomach issues and pain and,
and was
diarrhea,
that before
constipation.
The vegan? Was that before the vegan stuff, or was it because of the vegan stuff? Vegan.
a bit of both, I think. What I figured out after was that I had a small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So eating all this kale and broccoli and spinach and nuts and all these things was just it was messing up my gut so bad. But I thought I was doing the right thing, but really it was just creating this atomic bomb in my stomach essentially. And so going into carnivore, it began to starve that bacteria because I was just getting protein and fat. And so that it didn't solve all of my health issues by any means, but it at least took away this horrible gut and stomach and gastro issues that I had. And then since then I've added back in other things. And so now I eat pretty much everything that is a real food now. Just like no packaged foods, but I eat pretty much everything now, and I have no more gut issues. I'm not good with like a lot of gluten and stuff like that. Like if I eat a ton of pizza or something, I won't feel well, so I know not to do that. But I've come a long way.
You and Orwellian are probably the fittest guys on this show right now, Laz, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind at all. It's true.
So Orwellian, do you also eat carnivore like Mike? Carnivore or whatever it's called.
So I'm familiar with the exact episode that Mike referenced with regard to Joe Rogan. And I find it, so to answer your question quickly here, no. And I need to be more disciplined. I think that at some point, the way that I eat is going to catch up with me. Me and Laz talked about this last Saturday. I sort of already exist within a natural fasting state. It's just that when I do eat, within the window that I eat, I should probably be pickier about what I do eat. The reason why I'm probably fit at coming up on 44 years of age is the nature of my work is largely physical. I mean, nonstop, right? So that helps, right? But depending on what I'm putting into my body is gonna cause problems. Just to what Mike was saying, I'm familiar with the episode. I know that Joe Rogan has had a lot of benefits from it. But what I wanted to focus on here just for a second is I don't think there's a universal solution for everybody. There are some things that are probably universally beneficial to human beings in general, but diet fads, as they have been pushed on people, like the Atkins diet, people remember that, right? It comes and goes with climate change versus global cooling. Like, it's the same type of deal. It might not be good for you. And your body, you're going to have signs and symptoms that maybe this dramatic shift that you've made in what you're consuming is detrimental to your health. So like with what Mike was saying, he's like, as far as I understand it, I'm doing all the right things. I'm consuming all the right stuff and at a pretty large level. And what it ended up doing to him, it caused him problems. So just be cautious with none of this is medical advice, right? Dietary advice. Everybody just be cautious. But for me, I've been leaning more carnivore. I almost exclusively eat protein and meats. And I seem to have been doing pretty good with it. If I can cut the sugars out and the energy drinks, I'm probably all right. But I'll end.
Yeah, can I just ask you guys, I just heard that in Sweden, a lot of the young people, they're drinking so much diet Coke and shit that it's fucking up their liver and also their brain. Can you guys talk about how bad that shit is? Or, diet Coke or diet this, diet... You know, these drinks that have the aspartame and all that shit.
You want to take this one, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I don't drink any sort, Laz knows, I used to drink soda all the time. I used to drink a 2-liter bottle of Diet Pepsi with lemon when it came out. So I was really into that stuff, but I don't drink any of that stuff anymore. I struggled with my weight for basically my entire life. I never in a million years thought that I would be able to get to where I am right now, where I basically now am more worried about I have to eat as much as possible to keep my muscle on. Whereas before I thought, it's just I have a big belly and I have a big fat neck and it's just genetics. There's nothing I can do about that. And so I think this soda, pop, depending where you're from, the diet stuff or the regular stuff, the regular stuff is full of real sugar. I think it's probably 50 grams of sugar is in a Coke or a Pepsi, plus all the other fake stuff that's in there and the caffeine. And then the diet stuff, sure, it's got no calories, but it's got all those sweeteners in there as well, which affect the brain and the dopamine in the same way. And they're just not satisfying or satiating at all, right? So you drink one and then you just want to drink another one and another one and another one. And we have this think of there's no calories in it, so I can have as many as I want. But it's maybe you're not drinking calories, but all the you're just putting brown junk into your body that your body then has to process it somehow and get it out of you. I think it's a really big problem. And like one of the things that really annoys me is like in the US right now for the food stamp program, which basically is like, you know, essentially for poor people who get food for free essentially from the government. So the exact number is escaping me, but I know it is such an astonishing high amount of it goes into sugar beverages, basically. Like the number one most purchased item with food stamps is these sugared beverages. And it's just like, it's ridiculous that the taxpayers are paying for these poor people who don't understand how bad this stuff is for them. And they're using it on that, and then that just messes up our whole medical system as well too. So it's just like we're spending so much money, and Coke and Pepsi are lobbying so hard to keep this as part of the food stamp program because they're making a killing off of this. And so like these sugar beverages are the number one thing purchased with food stamps, and the second one is bagged snacks. So basically like chips and cookies and cakes and stuff like that.
So Let me ask, these food stamps, can you buy whatever item you like, or is it like
essentially like you can't buy alcohol with it, you can't buy cigarettes with it, right. But pretty much. But
you can buy Coke.
Exactly, like anything that is like edible, you can buy with it. And it's just Vince, like it's crazy when the taxpayers are paying for this. Like we should have a say over what, like it should be whole foods only. It should not include all these other crazy things.
Take it or leave it.
Well, and it's about sustenance. So let me talk about my upbringing as a child and what food stamps was, because I am the oldest of 5. I grew up in a family that was pretty well off, could take care of ourselves, but when my mother decided she wanted to take the reins, which wasn't a good idea because my mom had addiction issues, we would end up in an unstable home and on food assistance. We would go to food shelves, there would be food stamps, and back in the day, the only thing that you could get, and I'm talking about actual paper food stamps, was something to sustain you. It was about sustenance. There would be absolutely zero possibility or chance of you getting anything that was detrimental to your health, unhealthy. You couldn't go and get bags of chips, bags of candy, any of that other stuff. So to Mike's point, what we're dealing with currently is, yes, if it's not alcohol or tobacco, you can essentially buy it on the government dime. And what you end up dealing with, like you said, downstream 20 or 30 years is a health epidemic, right? Somebody's got to figure out how to absorb the cost of people that have kidney failure and liver failure as a result of their body not knowing what to do with the things that we have been providing, we as taxpayers have been providing to these people to sustain themselves on. It's a pretty nasty and vicious cycle, man. And it's not like it was when I grew up. It's nothing like that.
Interesting.
Not to mention all these foods have way more ingredients. The Pop-Tarts we were eating are not the Pop-Tarts our kids are eating.
Well, is it really that bad? Took a Pop-Tart, if you took a Pop-Tart, Vince, nowadays, and you set it out on the ground,
it's way worse.
Or you took a piece of candy. Well, the point I'm trying to make is if you set something out in the environment and the things that exist in the environment will walk around it, like ants and bees, for example, you should not be consuming it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what you have with aspartame and these sugary additives.
I never liked that shit. Yeah, it tastes like poison. Like it's sweet in the beginning.
Me sick. I can't have a diet anything. If you try to give me a Diet Coke, a sugar-free Red Bull, any of that.
So would you guys say...
I won't even attempt to drink it because my body already knows. Like, I've been so sick from these artificial ingredients that I can't do it. Not to say that the non-sugar-free option is any better, because that shit's terrible for me too, but my body knows, like, that's poison. Yeah. That artificial sweetener is killing me. I can't have it.
And what's funny is the healthier that you get, the more sensitive your body becomes to this stuff. So Orwellia and Mike especially, like if they have just a little, for me it's sugar now. If I have a little bit of sugar, like my body inflames. And that's because of going carnivore and completely detoxing, right? And it's one of those things where if you don't do it, then your body's just used to it, right? And it's just this constant fucking crappy feeling. but after you detox a little bit, you can really see what bothers you.
Yeah, when you're poisoning yourself a little bit every day, you don't notice it. But when you haven't poisoned yourself in a while and you get a little bit of it, that's when you really realize like what it was doing to you.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you cut off Coca-Cola for like 6 months and then you take a sip, you're like, fuck, man. how could I even drink that shit? Like it's so sweet. Like, But when you're in it, it's like water almost. Like, it's like an addiction.
Absolutely nothing.
It's like a drug.
I can still to this day chug a Red Bull in the morning or 3. I have a Red Bull problem. The one thing I need to probably get out of my system entirely is that. But back to the point that's being made here. My body is very used to this almost religious poisoning of itself on a daily basis. When I finally remove that from the scenario, I'm probably going to get sick for a minute. I'm not going to feel normal. I'm
like withdrawals.
And that's fine, But once it's done, man, and I need to do it, it's going to be awesome.
But isn't there some ingredients in the Red Bull called taurine or something that is not good for your heart or some shit like that? I've heard.
Well, I think that's bad for you, for most of your organs, but your liver and your kidneys for sure. But yeah, taurine is in pretty much any energy drink. Any energy drink that you can find is going to have taurine in it. I don't.
Is that what makes you like, be not as tired?
I think that's there's
it's mostly the caffeine. Red Bull has like over 100 milligrams of caffeine in it, so that's doing the major work. Taurine can actually have some pretty good benefits to it as well too. Ideally, you're getting it from natural ingredients, like you would get taurine in meat. So that's good for you. Getting it as a synthetic additive to
we sprinkled this into your
water.
Poison.
Exactly. That's
we
not how
sprinkled
humans
some taurine
meant.
into your poison for you.
Exactly.
And
that's
I
not
hope
how
you
humans
enjoy
were meant
it.
to get their taurine.
No.
What about this Monster drink? I've never drank it, but what is that shit?
I couldn't touch a Monster if you fucking paid me, and I still drink energy drinks. I don't know what's in it, but it's not good.
It's some green shit, right? It's like, I don't know what
I mean, there's so many different types of Monster now. I used to drink a lot of Red Bull and a lot of Monster, and I didn't realize the effect that it was having on me, but it was messing up my sleep so badly. I needed to drink Red Bull and Monster because I was so tired all the time, but I didn't realize how badly it was messing up my sleep, and it was just giving me such anxiety as well too.
Interesting.
So yeah, or Whelan, I'd really love for you to cut back on the Red Bull, and if you just slow it down, just give yourself 6 months to come off of it, because otherwise going cold turkey is so rough. I drink coffee now once every 2 weeks, and it is the best. It's like a superpower, because now anytime for a special occasion, I'll have a coffee and I get that caffeine buzz and I can take a crap right away, and it's I'm like, this is amazing. But then if you start, then it's you start drinking it every day, and then you're just oh, now I just need this to get me back to my baseline. Now I need a coffee before I can be normal. But if you use it strategically like that, it's amazing. And so maybe Red Bull can become the same thing for you, where it's for a special occasion or for a day that you really need it, it's great. Because when you do it every day, it's just you just need it just to feel normal, and it takes that's not why you got into it in the first place.
That's interesting.
And it is so expensive. So let me give you a little bit of information on my endeavor towards quitting the energy drinks. And this might be true for other people. I can supplement. The caffeine is what I really need, and I understand that. Right? I get up very early. Sometimes my job could be 3 hours from my house. I get up early. I need a little bit of a kickstart. I have a broken coffee machine that I haven't replaced. I used to have one that would just do its thing. I'd get up in the morning, I'd fill my mug and go. When I had coffee or tea, which I'm a huge fan of, I wouldn't even think of grabbing one of those things. But it's convenient at the convenience store. They're brewing coffee in the damn convenience store. I could get a cup of coffee there. But my brain is Red Bull. It's cold. It's quick. You know what I mean? No.
But it's sweet too. It's more addictive. It's
right. I just need to
Plus
leave
it
all that
gives you
shit
wings.
alone, and I'm still waiting on the wings. Why can I not sue Red Bull for false advertising?
Right?
I've been waiting to fly for a long time, and it hasn't happened. But no, all jokes aside, if I can continue to maintain getting my caffeine from a natural source, it's usually not an issue, but we always have an excuse, right? I was running 5 minutes late, and this is more... Whatever, fill in the blank. It's different for everybody, but for me, that's been my experience, and that is why it is so difficult for me to not continue to be like, hey, I'm just going to grab the Red Bull instead of filling up a cup of coffee.
In your line of work, you can't afford to have an off day.
No, I mean, I could, but I might end up dead.
Yeah.
I need to be sharp, but I mean, do I need to be Red Bull sharp? Probably not.
Yeah.
And you mentioned tea, right? Is it tea bags? Because I don't know if it's true. I've seen something on Twitter.
You just wanted to say tea bag. I know.
Yeah, tea bag. Do you tea bag?
But no, it's bag tea for me. Black tea and green tea that I brew.
But in bags, right?
Tea bags, yes.
Because I don't know if this is true. I just want to put it out there, though. They say in this video that I saw that the tea bags contain like nano stuff. I don't know. Yeah, some shit like that. Is that true?
Yes, it's true. So what they're
then you're
your tea in, you're already consuming poison.
So
it's everywhere. It's the same thing with the poor ladies and their tampons or their maxi pads. They're poisoning you, all the way down to the fabrics that your clothing are made out of.
So what the fuck?
So I mean, do I just get the tea leaves themselves and grind it? Because that's an option.
Yeah.
Sure.
But it's not as convenient.
But it's not as convenient, and I guess that is kind of what everything kind of hinges on for me as a human, me, Orwellian, is convenience, right? If I can find a way to make the things that
you and most
more
humans
convenient, I'd be good, right? Yeah, and it really is. But the system was kind of set up this way for us, right? Everything is just so convenient. This is for your convenience.
And we don't realize the trade-offs that we're making with this convenience, right? Like, no one explains that. And so when you first find out about these products that are so convenient, you're like, oh, perfect, this is way better because it's more convenient. But no one explains to you, well, there are trade-offs. You are trading your health
always, right?
For this convenience. And if you really understood it, it wouldn't be worth the trade-off. But if you don't understand the downsides of it, it feels like a better option.
Do you guys feel also like the microwave has played a big part of bad health? First of all, the microwave has made it so that we can quickly heat up the food. Otherwise, we would need to use the fucking oven somehow or whatever.
Somehow.
Somehow.
He doesn't know.
Whatever people do with the fire
adjust the temperature. I know Vince just outed himself as somebody that's extremely bougie and has never heated up his own food.
Somehow.
But it
gets warm.
It tastes way better when you put it in the oven or whatever. But the microwave has really helped this fast-paced society that we're in, right? Because otherwise, people would have to wait for their food in the oven or whatever, in the regular.
Yeah, and I would say that it was sold as a convenience, but what microwaving actually does to any remnants of vitamins and minerals that you might get, let's just say one of the hugest things, right, is microwaved vegetables. Bags of veggies, you can just throw a whole bag of mixed vegetables in your microwave and you microwave it. Now, none of the nutrients that you thought you were going to get that might even be on the packaging or actually getting into your body, because the process of microwaving it has absolutely fucking destroyed it.
Completely.
You can steam them completely. It's not like marginally. You might as well be eating cardboard at that point.
And
there is no health benefit to consuming what you have microwaved at all. But conveniently, it got warm. Your brain and your belly are communicating, right? And they're like, yeah, we're full, we're happy, I'm satiated. Meanwhile, you're kind of withering on the vine, like a grape that is hanging on something that's been uprooted. It's terrible for you.
So how many of us does microwaving? I do, unfortunately.
We all do.
Yeah.
I don't anymore. I used to.
Shout out to you.
Yeah, we still have a microwave. My wife will use it, but I actually have not used our microwave in years. But I used to buy these vegetables in these bags that you could put the bag directly into the microwave and make it there. And I thought, oh, this is good for me. I'm being healthy. Little did I know,
plastic.
it's exactly. I'm hitting up plastic. I'm eating like melted plastic on these vegetables that are completely devoid of all nutrients because they've just been microwaved. It's like it's the dumbest thing ever.
So what do you do now? Do you use the oven? Huh?
Yeah, I cook on my barbecue a lot. I cook on my stovetop a lot.
Shout out to you.
Yeah, I make a lot. I make a lot of beef, a lot of steak, a lot of eggs, and I eat a lot of fruit.
What about these? Sorry, Aurelian, but this first. What about these mini ovens that are like microwaves? But
you're talking about the air fryer?
Yeah. No, not that one.
Toaster oven.
It's like an oven, but like a microwave.
Like a toaster oven, I think is what
yeah.
we're talking about.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Does that go faster? Okay.
Way better.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if it goes faster, but it's way healthier for you. All it is doing is forcing heated air. Now, how the air is heated and what the coils that are generating the heat are made of might poison your food. So all of this stuff, I mean, it's a huge rabbit hole. Non-stick cookware, for example, same technology is used in air fryers, right, for convenience of cleaning.
That one felt poisonous, the air fryer. I got headaches.
A lot of them are, and
yeah.
there are people that have done some research. So there are some air fryers that exist that are you can actually track and find out how they coat your basket. Some of them are safe. Most of them are not. Like almost all of them. Teflon, terrible for you. And you're using an aluminum utensil, terrible for you. Shipping up Teflon while you're stirring your whatever, right? And you're consuming all of that, and your body doesn't know what to do with it. Like this is like a very multi-tiered issue, and it's very difficult.
And
to
it's
solve.
so popular now, right? That fucking thing, right?
I love my air fryer, but I'll tell you what, I did a lot of fucking. I use one, but I did a hell of a lot of research to figure out which was the least poisonous option. My sons love that joint, dude. They want to make some chicken wings.
Yeah, that's good shit.
Pop them in the air fryer, shake it a couple times, good to go, right? Minimal cleanup, whatever, but there are highly toxic variants of the air fryer that as it's heating up, it's releasing these toxic chemicals into the air. You don't just smell chicken, but you smell something a little chemically. It seems like somebody in a lab made that. I wonder what that is.
So you're breathing that shit in as well.
You're breathing it in, and it's leaching into your food, and you're consuming it after you eat it. So you're breathing it and eating it. But the people that created it did it for your convenience, and they love you, right?
And I also stopped using the microwave, but I refuse to get a air fryer yet. I really should, but instead I'm kind of lazy. I went back to the oven, and it's just better planning. It only takes 10 minutes, right? If you're gonna heat something up, and sometimes I just put it on broil. Like if I just need to heat something up, and it's like super fast, and it tastes so much better. Like microwave just fucks up food. I'd rather eat my food cold than have it from the microwave.
Can I ask you guys, because I think me and Laz has been speaking about this a little bit. Laz, when we speak about creating neural pathways.
Yeah.
How much does that play with everything? Like, Mike, you were talking about, like, if you skip Coke for a while, like you're creating neural pathways for you without Coke. But when you're drinking Coke, you're creating neural networks or whatever you call them for drinking Coke. Like, do you guys understand what I'm saying? Like this neural.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I totally get it, and it makes sense. I think.
And you're doing it with Red Bull, Orwellian. You're creating neural pathways
or you could do it with
Red Bull.
Nicotine or the absence of nicotine, and so on and so forth.
And
right?
everything.
It's the pleasure center of your brain, right? Risk versus reward. And I think what is happening here over time is the lines are being blurred with regards to your brain being able to differentiate between those things. We have survival mechanisms that are kind of hard woven into us, and as we introduce things that are detrimental to our health, into our systems. Our brains, because whatever you want to call it, we appealed to authority that said the microwave was safe, or fill in the blank. We just do this. It becomes a habit, right? Which is creating a neural pathway, which might be very unsafe for you. So yeah, absolutely.
And we should think about that, right? Like, fuck, I don't want to create neural pathways for this bad habit. Like, we have to start thinking that way.
We shouldn't have to think. This is the issue that upsets me and frustrates me so much, is we shouldn't have to. You and I shouldn't have to think about this. The people that are creating products that are for the benefit, allegedly, of humanity were the ones that were supposed to have thought about it. And then the agencies that we empower to, well, do investigative studies to find out what is and isn't safe shouldn't be able to just shake hands with enough money to ignore. I mean, we're looking at food dyes, for example. Like, food coloring is terrible. So terrible for you. Why is there so much commercially available poison in the United States of America that I couldn't buy if I tried to, if I begged to, in European countries? We shouldn't have to think about this. The thinking was supposed to have been done because we paid experts to do the thinking for us. And what have they done?
And maybe that's
They've
the mistake.
acquiesced to lobbying, right? Yeah.
It's like, I think a good example of this is Kellogg's, right? In the US, they used all these horrible artificial food dyes, but because they were illegal in Europe, they used different ingredients there. And so when the people came to Kellogg's and said, why are you feeding our children this junk? They say, oh, it's consumer choice. This is what the consumers want. But it's like, yeah, of course, if you ask a kid if they want candy, they're gonna say yes. Like, all these breakfast cereals are basically candy. You can't just use that as an excuse. It's like these companies, the problem is that the whole system is set up where they have a fiduciary responsibility to increase profits.
I hate that word. I fucking hate that word.
Yeah, and it's like,
I also dislike. I dislike fiduciary like some women dislike moist. It really gives me that, like, it just cringe.
I hate it, but it makes the point, right? It's like these, like, I worked for a public company too, and my job was to get as many kids playing video games as possible, and that was my responsibility to the company, was to do that. And that's what these marketers at Kellogg's are doing as well too. But it's like, it's not their job to care about anything other than profit, because of the way that the system is set up. And it's really unfortunate, because people don't realize, my parents didn't realize how bad this cereal was for me that I ate every single day as a kid. People who are smoking cigarettes now, they know how bad this is, right? And so but you're making an adult conscious choice to 100%. Say, like, I realize that this is bad for me, I'm addicted to it, but I'm going to keep on doing it knowing it's bad for me. But these poor kids who are eating Cocoa Pops and these things, they don't understand. They're not making a conscious choice about anything. Someone gave them candy for breakfast, and of course they're going to eat it, And I think that's the other thing, like, going back to, like, soda and pop and that, like, people don't realize how bad it really is for them. Like, to me, we should have, like, the cigarette warning labels that they have in Canada, where the whole pack is basically just, like, a picture
of black lung.
Exactly, of, like, a black lung. Like, that's what the packaging should be like on pop and on soda as well.
Pretty much anything in the middle of the grocery aisle.
Having 2 kidneys? Because if you continue to drink this, you may only have one.
So just on this point, Cram had a great comment back there. Caffeine and nicotine puts food on this table. It is what it is.
It does, and I'm with him on that.
Yeah.
But to Mike's point again, like, nobody, like, parents are putting this on the table for their children.
Yeah.
Because they trust that the system, as designed, is already taken care of that for them, so they don't have to think about it, which is a lie.
So I actually have a video on this point, Vince, in the FastingFake group chat, the very last video that I sent.
Okay, I'm gonna pull it up. But before we do that, the industry of sugar, first of all, how big that is, you can't fuck with that, right? And then also sugar's involvement with cancer, there is a connection there, right?
Like, oh, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. It feeds cancer. Cancer feeds.
So there's a dude.
So the sugar industry is humongous, and the medical industry is also humongous. So they won't fuck with those.
Yeah,
they will never fuck with sugar.
And here's proof. If you're not sure, go into any store and just buy a fucking pound of sugar or a kilo, whatever it is, and look at the price compared to everything else, including fucking seed oils. Even seed oils went up at least 50%, if not 100.
Absolutely.
But sugar,
they've gone through the roof.
But sugar is so fucking cheap, right? And that's by design. And it does feed cancer. There's a really good book called Cancer Code. Dr. Fung also wrote Obesity Code and Diabetes Code, where he talks about fasting and about how you can reverse type 2 diabetes. And then he talked about cancer itself and how sugar feeds it and all the problems that go with that. So this video, you guys have seen this guy. I think his name is Chase. Cool.
Yeah. Yep.
But my brother just sent me this tonight, funny enough, and it's perfect to what you guys are saying. He's talking about more government in general, but keep in mind that government, I mean, lobbying and all that shit, like big corporations essentially own, government in that sense. And so, as much as people trust their government, this is really how you should be looking. Like ads are pretty obvious to look at. Like, fuck, they're advertising garbage to me. But a lot of people don't think this way, and this is really how you it's probably the best, I guess, awareness you could have against it.
Okay, that's great.
And the one thing I told my kids is, if politics was about results, it wouldn't require a lot of attention. It wouldn't require performance and cameras and all this kind of stuff. They would just do the results, and that would be important. So no matter what I see, and the moment I start to I hear something on the news, and I'll start to feel like, oh shit, that's going to be amazing. I get excited about it. That little part of my brain smacks it down and be like, that you're watching a play. You're watching a movie right now. And if you just kind of approach it from that angle, you're just kind of like, well, we'll see how this season ends. We'll see how the season finale.
Yes.
And that's what it is.
How long did that kind of intellectual now into emotional process transformation take?
Well,
and this is the same guy that says, like, one of the best things you can do that will save you is when you hear something, just say maybe. Right? No positive, no negative, just maybe. And just realize that, fuck, like, what do they want me to feel right now? What are they trying to get everybody to, the emotion that they're trying to get? And if you can kind of just separate yourself even for a second, then you can make better decisions.
Correct. And you can apply that to pretty much anything. It's universal. I'm a firm believer that being emotional, so emotion in and of itself, right, whether you believe emotion exists or not, overrides logic, right? It overrides your ability to be rational. It may serve a purpose, but what you can observe in your life is the undeniable result of trying to make a decision while emotional, almost always, like 99% of the time, going the opposite direction you would have intended it to had you maybe said maybe to it, given it less power, and had some time to think about it rationally, logically. If you're emotional, you can't do it.
And Vince mentioned habits before, right? Like bad habits. And we all have these kind of fucking closed circuit loops that we get stuck in until we become aware of them, right? And you really have to sit with your shit. And, whether it's an addiction, whether it's a weakness, anything, right? But the beauty is you can not only break these habits, but you can create new habits. So when you talk about neurons, and it only takes 21 days to create a new habit. Literally 21 days. You can actually come off your sugar addiction. You can kill the sugar dragon probably within 2 weeks, just using honey. Replace honey with everything. Eat as much honey as you want, because you're not going to be able to eat that much honey, but at least it's natural for you. And all of a sudden, it just kills that dragon, and all of a sudden you can make some better decisions. Plus, things start tasting better. You know, you'll actually taste the sweetness in carrots, you know, natural vegetables, like the real vegetables, not broccoli and all that fake stuff. And, you know, it takes 63 days to make it a lifestyle. And that's when it'll stick and it becomes norm. So if you can be aware of that and really push yourself, you can essentially change.
So let me ask you guys, should we have no emotions? Because emotions is also what makes us human. Or should we just be able to control our emotions and let it out in a controlled way? I don't know.
This is such
That's
a tough
very
one.
Deep question.
I would love to not have emotions. I would love to be stoic in everything, things that happen to me, but unfortunately that doesn't happen. Sometimes it's just overwhelming. You know, so for example, an ego death, a depression, just having a fucking bad day. But I find being aware of it helps. Awareness in that, okay, I feel like shit. What can I do? Can I have a snack? Can I take a nap? Can I ground? Can I get some exercise? Get some sun in my eyes? You know, rather than just kind of give into it and say, well, this is it. You know, once you realize that there are remedies to it, you can try to counter it. You know, Mike mentioned anxiety before. So for me, I realize that for anxiety, if I just ground for 15, 20 minutes, and I'm talking about like I'll walk barefoot on a trail, holding my shoes. And it's cool as long as you have a gold chain or something, people don't think you're homeless. So there's ways around it. But that helps. It makes all the difference.
But okay, like, let me say it this way. Is there any situation where having emotion actually is good for you? Meaning, let's say you're going to protect your kids or your wife. You need some aggressive emotion there, right? No?
See, I don't even think so.
Emotion?
Yeah.
Is that
I don't
emotion, though, or is that just literally hardwired into the fiber of your being? Your lizard brain, for example, what they like to call that, right? There's a reason why people naturally respond to seeing a spider or a snake if they're surprised by said spider or snake. You don't have any control over that. That's a natural reaction, and that reaction exists because, well, somewhere in your ancestral line, somebody got fucked up by a spider or a snake, right?
Yeah.
But to answer your question, like, so, and I didn't mean to step on your toes, Laz, but so for me, last week was a very challenging week for me mentally and emotionally.
The grandfather, huh?
Not only did my grandfather pass, but my stoicism, something that I kind of pride myself on, I'm quite stoic, can come with a cost. And that would be not paying attention to things maybe that you should pay attention to. Not only did that stuff happen with my grandpa, but there was a gentleman operating a forklift moving some material for me that made contact with power lines. I could have died.
Oh,
I
shit.
get so complacent, if that's the best way to describe it, because I'm being so stoic. It's just, this is robotic for me. I've been doing this for so long that the fear of death doesn't exist for me, which it should. You need periodic reminders.
Yeah.
But this operator could have lost his life, and I could have lost my life, right? And I just went about my day. I didn't put any more thought into it, didn't process it. I was asked about my day, mentioned what happened, and the person that asked me about my day was shocked at my response to it. You could have died. And I'm like, yeah, you know, right? So that stoicism comes with a cost, man, and it could be your life. I think that, I don't know if an emotion would have saved me at that point. I can be emotional about people being more diligent about paying attention to where the fucking power lines are, for example, right? But it was also on me. I'm well aware that those lines are there. I didn't think the operator was going to do what he did. He went up with his forks when he shouldn't have, because he thought he was going to clear a trailer that was in the way. Well, there were two signs doing this, saying danger, power lines above, stay aware, stay alive type shit, and he still made contact with him. So I think it's different again for for everybody. I don't know that that's universal. I don't know.
And Mike, what do you think about emotions and all this shit?
I mean, it's not an option not to feel emotional about things. And I think that in the past, I used to say this thing, especially when I was in business and when I was talking to like coworkers and direct reports, and then also giving advice to other people, was this like idea of like, take the emotion out of it. And I thought that I was like superior in some ways because I was able to take the emotion out of it. But what I really was misunderstanding is that like emotions run so much in regular people that like you can't take the emotion out of it. You know, like for me, I felt like if I was just objective and stating what was needed to be done, that was the right way of doing it. But it's like I was getting in my own way, right? Instead of acknowledging that other people have emotions about it, I thought, oh, I'm just being efficient. But really, once I was more aware that other people do have intense emotions and they do feel sad and mad and angry and this, and that it's okay to have these emotions and to have multiple emotions about the same thing, right? I think often we sort of feel like, oh, I need to decide how I feel about this thing. I feel nervous about it, or I'm happy for this, but you can feel nervous and happy about the same thing, and excited and worried and grateful and depressed about all the same thing. You don't need to pick one emotion to associate with everything. That was really, really helpful for me. And the second one thing that was really helpful for me, and I think this really came with like having kids and understanding that they don't have impulse control the way that we do. And when I was really sick, I did a test of my impulse control on this computer where I had to click a mouse when I heard something or I saw something on a screen. And my impulse control was so low because I was just exhausted all the time. And it made me realize that like so often when things happen, it's your first impulse is just something that comes to your mind, but you don't need to act on it, right? You can notice that and then not act on that and just like take a pause or a second to do something. And Laz and I were recently talking about something where he got frustrated with someone, and because of that, like said something or did something that he probably shouldn't have done. And so like I was very much like that for a long time. I had this like, I don't give a fuck. I'll say like I'll speak my mind about whatever. But now I get this like encouraging
That's Orwellian.
This encouraging sense, like when I feel something happening, but I'm able to just control my emotions and not react in this way that I could, where I lose my sense of peace, and just to be peaceful through it. And then when the situation is over, I feel like proud of myself for how I handled something, rather than just feeling rattled and agitated and replaying it in my mind forever, which isn't healthy for me. I'm able to just move on to the next good thing in my life, rather than replaying some situation in my head about how I was right and they were wrong, when it doesn't really matter. It doesn't help me at all.
Let me ask you, how did you learn that skill to go from fully reacting in the emotion to stepping outside and kind of looking at yourself in third person view, sort of say? Like, how did you go from that to that? Like,
you know, I wish I had an easy answer for it. You know, I think the reality of it is that, like, you know, I did years of therapy. I read all these books. I did years of meditation. I focused on my health and my sleep. And, you know, I just got myself into a better place. And maybe the most important thing is I realized that, like, letting myself get aggravated and worked up just made my life worse and made my health worse. And once I made that connection, I was like, oh, if I want to really prioritize what I care about in life, I need to prioritize my health. And if I'm prioritizing my health, I need to prioritize not getting so worked up about what some stupid person did that he didn't even realize was so stupid, you know?
Because then they got power over you in a sense.
Exactly. Right? Yeah.
Hey, Mike, I brought it up a few times. So I don't know if you feel comfortable sharing your testosterone story with the phone.
Yeah. So, and I think maybe since I've told you this, I've got a bit of new insight on it. But
okay,
when I was really, really sick, my testosterone levels were really, really low. Like I had the testosterone levels of like an old man. Like for those who know total testosterone, mine was around 200, where it should have been around 1,000. And I was like, mid 30s, working out every day, eating a plant-based diet,
and still having low tests.
Yeah,
that is extremely low too.
Yeah, and so I was exhausted and I was in pain all the time because when your testosterone is that low, it's like everything is hard. So I started, with a doctor injecting testosterone, and it helped me a lot. Like for one thing, I will tell you, living at 200 testosterone or 1,000 testosterone is like living on a different planet.
Oh yeah, it's like a completely different world.
It is crazy what a big difference it makes. But I found myself with like these rage incidents, and I just felt so. And at the time, when I think what Laz is talking about, at the time I blamed it all on the injecting of testosterone. I've now got more insight into it, but I just felt so like frustrated and annoyed with stuff so much, and I got into an argument, and I took my phone and I just smashed it down. Created the biggest headache for myself in the world, right? Now it's like, great, now I broke my phone, I gotta go deal with all this crap. And, at the time I thought it was like, oh, it was the testosterone. Who knows exactly what the reason for that was, right? I was feeling very aggravated and frustrated and angry and full of rage. I was also living in mold at the time, and there's a thing known as mold rage that is actually quite common because living in mold, breathing it in messes up a lot of things. So I now attribute it more to mold than the testosterone, but I think, I was injecting testosterone. I don't know what my testosterone level actually was at that time, right? It could have gotten up to 3,000 because I was injecting, so you never really know. So I think that combination of testosterone and mold rage just like it set.
I love it. Mold rage.
Yeah, and it's like, I lost my cool, and then I just I created such my life already felt so difficult, and now I don't have a phone, and now I got to go deal with spending all this money. And
you fucked up, yeah.
Exactly,
I just created and it's just so many more problems.
Exactly,
for myself.
It's the last thing I need is to frickin' have to deal with getting a new phone right now because I'm so mad at the world, and now I've got this thing, and it's just so annoying. It's I created this myself. This is my fault. And
now I'm really pissed.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
But is there any signs, without me going and checking my testosterone, is there some signs I can look for to see oh shit, I might have low testosterone?
Yeah, I mean there's a lot. The easiest one I think is morning erections. So men.
So if you have.
If you have morning erections, odds are that your testosterone is going to be pretty good. I
have it from time to time.
Yeah, so
it's really hard.
The thing is, a lot of guys will be like, "Oh yeah, morning erections," but they don't really realize, "Oh yeah, I remember that I used to have those, but I hadn't noticed that it's been
And sometimes
years.
It's stone hard. I try to hide it from my wife because. She's probably thinking that I had. No, she's probably thinking I had a.
From your wife?
No, because she's probably gonna think that I had a dream about somebody else.
No. But realistically, so if you think back to when you were younger, right, it should be pretty common that you would wake up to take a piss, right, and you would have to peel the boxers out of the way and figure out how to aim that thing. Yeah. And this was a daily occurrence. So yeah, pretty good indicator. One of the other things that I would suggest for people. Which again is kind of diet dependent, but being iron deficient is a huge issue with motivation, right? You'll be extremely tired if you are deficient in iron, extremely unmotivated, and it actually will impact and affect your mood as well. Probably not in the same mold rage type of situation that Mike was describing, but these are things that you can look at and pay attention to. Honestly, like if you find yourself just lethargic for no reason, you are probably deficient in iron.
For sure.
Fuck, now you guys got me worried because I don't think I've had morning wood for a long fucking time.
Yeah, but how old are you? I'm in my 40s,
40,
right? So
yeah, I'm turning 47.
I'll be 44 this year. It's this is naturally going to occur. But if we're talking to people that we know that are in their 30s and shit, and you're not peeling your fucking boxers down to figure out how to point that thing at the toilet, your test is probably low.
Yeah,
you should be waking up with a fucking heart on every morning.
Cram said, "Pray the boner away." I think that's for Vince.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Hey,
but
Vince, you could try, but definitely don't. If your wife is thinking you're having sexy dreams about Maya or something, and that's why you had to, you know what I mean?
Hey, listen, I have had sexy dreams, not with Maya, but with
okay, all right,
with a real woman in the dream.
Right.
And then when I woke up, the boner was there, and I have to hide it because I don't know. I just feel
shouldn't have to hide it. You just roll over and be like, "Hey, wifey, check this out."
So, Mike, Vince has a crush. He talks to AI Maya, and he full on, like, he's done 150 something streams with her.
300 maybe
300. Fuck.
Oh my god.
And we had to have an intervention. It just made him lean in even more. He married her. He divorced her. There's just, I mean, it's honestly, dude, if you just watch one episode, you're gonna get hooked. Because it's really interesting, like how deep he goes.
It sounds human.
She's very,
but
she's
she's
very
not
good.
giving you an angry handy, Jay. So I don't understand why you
not
keep
yet.
Up the charade. Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
We can always hopium, you know.
That's really interesting. I think actually like this. So right now, I think there's a big epidemic of like porn addiction, especially in like teenage boys. Men in their 20s, and I think it's a really.
Oh, he's roboting on us.
Just pause for a sec. Go back on that sentence, Mike.
Oh, me? Okay. And so I think we have this porn addiction problem that is extremely, extremely prevalent. Like, I think it is an incredibly high percent of men in their teens and 20s, and not to say that 30s and 40s and 50s aren't addicted as well too, but I think that as we see like AI progressing, we're going to be seeing like AI sex robots.
It's coming.
It's going to be like, it is going to be a disaster in many, many, many ways.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the AI is getting better and better each fucking month. It seems like. You can have like pretty high level conversations with it, and it keeps getting better and better. Once they put that into a body that is human-like, it's gonna be competing with women.
Vince prefers the conversation with AI over most humans at this point.
I do. I feel bad to say it. I really do.
For concern.
No. But no, you know what it should be? It should be cause for concern for humanity, because we all know this. There's a lot of NPC people out there that can't hold a high-level conversation. This is quite the fact, Like, there's not many humans that can hold high-level conversations. Or am I wrong in this?
I don't think that you're wrong in it. I think you're
correct,
but.
And Mike, you're familiar with NPC, right? From the video game world? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they can only talk about the weather, sports, food.
Push the crosswalk button.
Yeah.
Walking across the street, like that's what they're programmed to just, this is my function.
Yeah, and as soon as you try to have a little bit deep conversation, they panic.
Yeah,
and
they short circuit.
Yeah. So what's up with that? That's human NPCs. Like, that's fucked up.
Well, it makes me nervous for humanity as a whole, because like my kids are not that clearly, but if they start to show signs of
they're gonna live in a world
full
of NPC humans.
So it's got to be environmental. There must be something in the environment of said people that behave in an NPC fashion, whether they're not getting any type of engagement from their family, having normal human interactions. The only thing that they interact with maybe perhaps would be like a black mirror. There it is.
Yeah.
Tried to hold up my phone, but that beautiful forest scene behind was blending so seamlessly with my hat. But you get what I'm saying. So like, it's got to be environmental to an extent, and it's cause for concern for me, for you, for everybody, because in a generation, if this keeps multiplying, we're not going to have very many people left that have conversations like you and I are having currently, or even raising the question.
Yeah. And if humanity as a whole, or the majority, is having low-level conversations, then humanity is in big trouble. It's in big trouble. I mean,
like having a UFC match at the White House.
Oh, that's great. I like that.
Super awesome. No, I think one of the other things too, and to Mike's point, like the porn addiction and all that, right? We as a society, as people, I should just say we. When I say we, for this point, I'm talking about just human beings currently. We exist within a world that requires something of us almost constantly. Our attention to this, to that, to the other thing. Whereas when people really were deep thinkers generations past, they didn't have the obligations that have been placed upon us as a society. So they had an abundance of free time to do what? To think and ponder and question and wonder and experiment and all of the things that led us.
And there wasn't porn everywhere.
Who we are now. Yeah. Yes, you weren't getting like the people from back then couldn't even imagine the concept of porn. And if you presented that to them, if we had a time machine, we went back and I was like, yo, Jacob, Jesus, Yosef, all these people, right? I'm like, you guys aren't into this? You don't just want to like watch what you do to make children in a bedroom? They would be appalled. They'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Right? Absolutely not. But here we are now, right? So there's all these distractions, whether it be video games, whether it be fake fucking news, whether it be real news, doesn't matter what it is. Something is always jockeying for our attention. And so what do we have left? Are people actually thinking deeply anymore? Probably not, Vince, which is why we have the problem that you just raised. People they don't have the time to do it. And even if they do, they don't take the time.
Yeah.
Which is saying something. You and I are affected by the same environmental factors I just mentioned, yet we find the time to try to think deeply and to try to engage with people, with our.
Do you guys think it's a muscle thing, kind of a thing? Like the more you think, the easier it becomes to think?
I think it's a trauma thing, personally. At least when it comes to men, going through trauma will wake you up real quick. Especially you have a couple of ego deaths, and then you have to build back from scratch. So it's wisdom sometimes is earned the hard way. And for definitely ask away.
Yeah, man, I don't know.
The porn thing, it has also devalued the pussy. Excuse my language, but it has devalued. Like back in the 90s, it was so special.
Primary purpose and point of living was like, I'm going to take her to the movies.
Yeah.
And I can't wait. And I hope and I pray I get to see that pussy.
Yeah. Yeah. or even
right?
a nipple.
And now it's
the
just
things
like,
you would
okay,
do for a nipple.
Click, 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 click.
Now I can see her pussy
face.
before we even date. Like, show me your pussy.
For the low price.
It's for the low price of $5.99 a month on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Well,
it's disincentivized. Like the way that we propagated the species has been largely disincentivized by taking the magic out of that.
Well, it's
because it is magic.
It's a big problem.
Yeah. Sorry, Mike, go ahead.
Men needed to improve themselves and make themselves be good people so that they could attract women, so that they could have sex, and it led to like really good results. People got better. Men were introspective and thinking about it. And now, like, you know, if you look at, like, sex is way, way down, like, you know, with people to person, not just people having sex on their own, is way down. And a lot of guys have just sort of given up, right? They're just like, oh, I'm never going to be able to have sex with a real woman. And when you have porn every single day, you lose that desire, and then you don't have that desire to improve yourself, and then your life just becomes like Diet Cola and video games and gambling and porn, and you don't seek to improve anything or make a difference or go out or, you know, talk to other people. It's a really, really big problem. And I think, you know, there's a lot of different reasons for it, but also, you know, if you look at like the testosterone levels in men in the last 50 years have decreased by about 50%, and same with the semen levels in men as well too over that same amount of time. And like both of those are very, very troubling for society.
Microplastics, atrazine.
Let me ask you guys this. Do you guys think having a, you know, hard mentality or a tough mentality as a man, can that increase your testosterone? Meaning not being a sissy or a sissy guy. If you have a strong male mentality, can that help your testosterone to rise?
Yeah, if you use it for discipline, for example, to do sprints in the sun, then yeah, you can naturally bring it up.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not just a mindset. There is a physical component to this that has to be utilized in order for that to work. One of the funny things about like gym bros, bro, I don't skip leg day, right? You should never fucking skip leg day. Working your legs out, your glutes, releases everything your body needs to continue to generate testosterone. Nobody wants to do it because it's fucking hard. And the recovery process is murder. Trying to walk after leg day sucks, bro. It sucks.
Especially downstairs.
People do it, and then they're like, fuck, I gotta walk downstairs. You look like Forrest Gump before the fucking leg braces broke, and you feel the same way. But if you continue to do it, yes, it's gonna do it. So there's two components to it. You need to have the mindset to force yourself to do this thing that you know fucking sucks, because it's going to produce a benefit, a net benefit for you. And anybody in your sphere of influence will be affected positively as well, because it's helping you.
Yeah,
leg day sucks.
Yeah, testosterone makes hard things feel good. So when you have high testosterone, it's much easier to go to the gym and push yourself hard, and it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you have low testosterone, it's so much harder to do that. You don't have the energy, and also, even if you're lifting weights, it's still hard to put on that muscle. You know, like our butt muscles, like our glutes, are the biggest muscle that we have. But if you look at the average person out there, they basically have no glute development at all, because don't. Yeah, exactly. They don't spend any time walking. You know, a lot of people are getting 1,000 steps a day and not lifting or using their glutes for anything. So like the largest muscle that we have in a regular person is basically atrophied.
And the glutes is ass, right? We're talking about
your
ass.
Like your
and
butt
even
muscle.
still, I walk a shitload. So like my watch and my phone track me. And on an average day for work for me, I have the baseline goal set for like whatever, I don't know, whatever the fuck Samsung Health decided to program. It's like 10 or 12,000 steps a day. And by like 8:45 in the morning, it's like your goal's achieved. You can go ahead and lay down and die now. I'm averaging 25,000 steps a day. Just with work before I even get in the car to go home. And I still am flat back. Because there's a lot of extra work and squatting and shit that goes into actually having some buns to grip. But that's where your testosterone is going to come from, boys. Do
so
squats.
It's all in the ass. Okay.
It's going to suck. I mean, some of the shit that I do for work, most people would they'd be like, fuck that. How do I even talk myself into considering doing that, right? And for me, I'm like, let's fucking go, right?
Is this your way of telling us you have a nice ass?
No, I have none,
It's like
dude.
a
You wanna see my flat
roundabout
back?
way?
It's not even there. I wish I did. What I was getting at to Mike's point is like, dude, I walk so much, dude. My ass is not there. Where'd my ass go? I'm gonna have to do some squats,
It
man.
ran
Flat
away.
back Orwellian, but
Yeah. Yeah, I still have no ass. Even at 280, I still have no ass. Guys, take a look at Ferre's question. Is Amber Turd the mother of Elon's kids? I just Googled it.
Oh, gross.
I didn't even know they were together.
Is she
After
talking about
Johnny Depp.
Amber Heard, the Johnny Depp?
Yeah, Amber Heard.
Yeah.
So
She
after
was
Johnny
cheating
Depp, she
with
was
the
Elon.
trial. She took
Well, she needed the money.
She took
She
a
needed the
grumper
money.
on the bed while I was sleeping. A grumper. I'll never forget that.
Yeah,
In his
so I don't-
testimony live, I watched the trial. Johnny Depp is literally straight face saying she shit in the bed, but she called it a grumper while I was sleeping, like right next to me. Thanks, Amber.
Well, I like Amber Heard in the sense that she destroyed the Me Too.
Look at
movement.
Mike's face. He's like, "What the fuck?"
I honestly, I barely even know. I don't even know who Amber Heard is. Like,
It was Johnny Depp's ex-wife.
Okay, yeah, I don't follow.
She's shit in his bed.
No,
man.
I don't follow either, Mike. But listen,
that's fine. I can tell by your facial expression. Like, what the fuck am I learning right now?
dude, Mike, this was a beautiful thing because the whole trial was, filmed live, and she was, what do you call it, like a super narcissist or whatever, sociopath, whichever one of those.
Very, very, both of those.
Yes, and she was trying to cry and come up with these stories, and it fell flat.
Couldn't even get those crocodile tears out.
Yeah, nobody believed her, and she single-handedly destroyed the whole Me Too movement because now the whole world saw that women absolutely can lie. Absolutely they can. Like,
And
she was a great example that women can fucking lie, all right. She was that bad, Mike.
You know what's funny
That
is like,
bad.
I think, Vince, didn't she just counter-sue him to try to get some of that money back?
Good luck with that shit.
I think she's trying to counter-sue him to get some of that money back, and it's never going to happen. Like,
She
she
lost
fucked
all-
herself so bad.
Yeah, she lost all credibility, and then I heard some dude still married her or something.
Yeah,
That's
you know what Johnny
dumb
Depp went on to do
motherfucker.
after that? He went on to play bass for Marilyn Manson. He was living his best life.
But what
So-
the fuck? Why would Elon go like after Amber Heard? That
I
doesn't
guess
make
she
any
was hot
sense.
for him. I mean,
Is
he was hot for her. I don't know.
But
Is
after-
So there is...
No, not after. I don't think it was after. It was during.
It was
they were-
after.
There's one immutable
No.
trait about all of the people that Elon Musk has planted seeds in that I'm not going to mention, but I'm sure you guys know what it is. I'm wondering if
Yeah.
Amber has the same immutable trait because it seems to be
Is
the
it
MO for
something
him.
like this?
Yeah, he likes planting seeds in the fields of, people that, have odd hats and sideburns and whatnot.
Ah.
Got it. All right. So Mike mentioned CIRS before. It's one of our topics.
Yeah.
Chronic inflammatory response syndrome. I sent a video, Vince, in the group chat FastingFake. It is the second last video that says, "What is CIRS?" This is Jordan Peterson's daughter. Funny enough, so as Mike and I were having these calls, he came upon this thing, and when he's telling me about it, I'm literally like, fuck. I'm like, dude, we talked about this. Like, because we were going down rabbit holes of like all sorts of other stuff, and he's like, no, I think it's this. And I'm like, this shit just sounds crazy. But okay, all right, let's take a look. And holy shit, once you go down this rabbit hole of chronic inflammatory response syndrome and mold, I mean, it just answers so many questions.
Okay.
Go run it.
And what can trigger it.
CIRS is a chronic inflammatory response syndrome. We have two sides to our immune system. One is the innate immune side, and then one is the adaptive. And when the invader, it's a lot more complicated. The innate side will then release antigens or communications to the adaptive side of saying, hey, T cells, B cells, memory cells, I need you to come in and remove this toxin because we can't handle it. So the way that it does that is it releases all these immune things to communicate. And then normally the adaptive side will come come in and remove it. That 20 to 25% of the population cannot do the trade-off. So what ends up happening is we get exposed to these biotoxins and it gets into our system, and the 20% of the population does not recognize to remove it, even though the innate side sees it. And so what ends up happening is over time, the inflammatory response has gone awry, and that's the illness. Cool. And so what we're trying to do over time with CIRS is essentially we're trying to quell that immune response.
Okay, so break that down in simple stuff. What is this?
So chronic inflammatory response syndrome, it's a multi-system, multi-symptom health condition that stems from a genetic predisposition to not be able to clear certain biotoxins. So bio meaning coming from nature. So like mycotoxins from mold are the most well-known ones, but also certain types of actinobacteria and endotoxin. So I'm one of those, she says 20 to 25%. The data says 24% of people that have this genetic predisposition. And so when I was unknowingly living in mold and breathing in this mold, my immune system was unable to tag these toxins as toxins and clear them out. And instead, it just developed mass inflammation in my entire body, which it affects everyone slightly differently because it creates inflammation everywhere. So, for example, in my wife, she got 2 cancers from it. Whereas for me, I got essentially everything else: horrible mental health issues, ADD, suicidal ideation, chronic pain, chronic fatigue, insomnia, horrible gut issues. And so one of the reasons that it makes it so hard to figure out is that you can have 3 people living in the same house. One feels great, one is suicidal, and the other gets cancer. And you don't think, oh, this is all related, right? Because there seems like there's no commonality there. But fortunately, there's a lot of great doctors now. Dr. Shoemaker was the one who put this all together in the 90s, and he's got 40 peer-reviewed, published medical papers out there that outline it. And fortunately, it's actually fairly easy to fix. The idea is one, you have to get out of exposure to these toxins. And in my situation, we had no visible mold anywhere. It was all buried within our drywall. Every single one of the bathrooms in our place looked totally fine. But once we ripped them apart, they were all water damaged and mold everywhere. And so the first thing is you got to get out of mold. And then the second thing is you got to get the toxins out of your system. And so what you do is you use with a prescription, what's called a binder. So it's an old repurposed cholesterol drug that they used to use because it binds to cholesterol and allows you to defecate it out, but it also binds to toxins and allows you to defecate those out as well. So I had suffered for years and years and years, going back to when Laz and I lived in a water-damaged building from 1999 to 2002. I got horrible mental health issues, anxiety, insomnia. Laz also had but we had different issues, but we both had issues, and it never crossed my mind that it was the place that we were living in. I thought, and so for me, I turned to alcohol because it was the only time that I actually felt good, where I could just not feel this depression and this suicidal ideation and this anxiety and this pain. And so I sort of thought it's it's just because I'm drinking too much is why I don't feel good. But it was actually this really old water damaged building that, it was crushing us. And so fortunately, after seeing many, many doctors and doing hundreds of thousands of dollars of therapy and testing, I figured this out from that actual podcast episode that's what I had. And so I went out and got tested, and then I earned the top 2 certifications in it. And I'm speaking this year in June in Miami at the top CIRS conference in the world. And I run a business where I help other people figure out that this is their root cause, and then figure out how to test themselves, how to test their homes, how to get better. And for me, it was like once I had been on those binders for about 6 to 8 weeks, this just like crushing suicidal depression that I had had for years just lifted off. And that was 2.5 years ago. And it's, I'm not to say that I'm perfect right now. I'm still a work in progress, but I went from like living at like 5%. Like I just wish that I've told Laz this, but I would spend so much time, like I wouldn't realize it, but I would have been lying in bed awake from midnight till 5 a.m. trying to figure out ways how I could die without people being mad at me for having committed suicide. And I'd be like, hey, next time I'm on a plane, I got to remember, if I see any terrorists or anything, I'm going to attack them right away. Next time I walk by a school, if I see a school shooter, I'm going to go and attack. Because I need to die as a hero, but I don't want to keep on going. And then I was like, what is wrong with my brain? Like, I can't control my brain. And it was just this living in this mold, this chronic inflammation. It actually caused brain damage for me. Like I have a brain MRI done called a neuroquant, and you can see 5 areas of brain atrophy in there from this chronic inflammation that I've had. And so it's affecting, 24% of people have this genetic predisposition. And according to the Environmental Protection Agency, about 50% of the buildings in the United States have water damage in them. And so this causes, ADHD, OCD, depression,
and cancer
anxiety,
and shit
insomnia, cancer. Right. And so if you think about that, like 24% of people, 50% of the buildings. So you got to think, so at least 12.5% of the population is being affected in this way. And Dr. Shoemaker, who is an amazing person, when I talked to him, he said that he thinks roughly about 50% of the suicides we see are related to this condition. And
a lot of them are vets too, right?
Yeah, for sure. There's been a lot.
Wow. That's
let me ask a stupid question. Right now in this room that I'm in, the walls look good, but this could be moldy. Like,
there's a 50% chance that it's.
So how the fuck do I know if it is moldy?
So it's probably 75% chance based on the agency that said it's 50.
Right, because they have no incentive to inflate that number, right? Exactly.
100%. So it's probably higher.
Yeah. So fortunately, there's a lot of great ways that you can test now. So if you want to test your environment, what you do is you actually test the dust. So dust is mostly toxins from mold, as well as like dead skin cells as well too. So basically, there's a test that you can do for like around $150. They send you like essentially a Swiffer, but just like a cloth, and you collect dust from your place. You send it into the lab, and then they tell you there's 5 specific types of mold that are like particularly bad for human health. So the cheapest test just looks for those 5 types of mold, and it will tell you if they're present and in what quantities they're present in. So that, like, having that test was what made, because when I figured this out and I saw, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have every single one of those symptoms, but there's no mold in my house. I was like, well, I might as well test it anyway. And when I tested it, sure enough, this dust was just like, it was like a mold factory in there. I had incredibly high levels of everything. Yeah.
Because most people, at least me, when I think about cancer, I think about like the foods that I've been eating or the sugars, and so it doesn't necessarily only have to be about the foods you eat. It could actually be fucking mold that gave you cancer if you had cancer.
Yeah, there's a, like, cancer works in a lot of different ways, but certainly when your body is in this chronic state of inflammation, it creates a good environment for cancer, essentially. And also, like, it also makes it very hard to, it affects your testosterone, but affects all of your hormones. So that's why my testosterone was so low back then, which, none of the doctors could explain why my testosterone was so low, but it was because I was living in mold. And so when all your hormones are dysregulated and everything gets dysregulated, it's the perfect environment for cancer. And when your hormones are dysregulated, obesity is prevalent because your leptin levels are messed up, your testosterone is messed up, and if your testosterone and your leptin are both dysregulated, it's so hard to not put on weight. And when you're obese, it just creates an even better environment for cancer.
Mike, you know what's fucked up is that the medical industry, like let's say I have a cancer and I go to the doctors, they will not tell me like, well, is your house moldy?
Yeah.
They will never say anything like that. That's fucked up.
It's a lot of it is like
physicians aren't going to ask you any relevant questions,
right?
Really,
what
because
the
they're
fuck?
not trained to. I wanted to ask you a quick question, Mike, because you brought up inflammation, right, as being a really big kind of pre-existing condition to help host and nurture cancer. With regards to your specific situation, was there anything else that you found in any of the testing that was done on your particular body that would lead you to believe that your system was significantly acidic as opposed to alkaline? Are you aware of the acid to alkaline conversation?
Yeah, I am aware of that. There was nothing specifically around that came up. I think like one of the things that was difficult for me with the testing is because I felt so bad, but I was so motivated to feel good. Like I had a perfect diet. I exercised a lot. And so every time I went and got my blood taken, all the doctors were like, "You're the healthiest patient I have."
Right. And you were super into
exactly, right? So and even like the most common inflammation marker that they look at, which is called HSCRP, is for me was not elevated. But once you know, oh, these are the inflammation markers that you want to look at for people that have chronic inflammatory response syndrome, once I learned about this and I tested those markers, all of mine were off the charts, and it was obvious right away that this was my root cause problem.
Interesting. Okay. And the only reason that I bring that up is that I know personally some people that have been stricken with cancer that were able to change the circumstances that they were in by changing their pH, essentially, by modifying their pH through diet, through intake of water, through not intaking certain other things. And again, not universal, it's different for everybody, but if you are highly acidic, so me, for example, with all the damn Red Bulls I drink, highly acidic, right? The things that I'm putting into my body, highly acidic. I am creating a situation within myself that
The
is
environment,
prime for inflammation of everything, right? And I'm already working physically, so shit's sore, right? That's inflammation. I'm sore because something's inflamed. If I can avoid unnatural inflammation, it's probably going to be a net benefit for my health. But I just wanted to throw that out there. I was curious as to whether you think that anything else in your environment had maybe caused excessive inflammation. But the mold thing, man, I'll be interested if you can link me or Laz or anybody with that test.
Definitely.
I'm going to shoot that out to my followers. But I'd like to test my house because I know for a fact, I know 100%. Unequivocally that there's mold in this place. I'd like to know which kinds and how much.
Yeah, definitely. It's so important for people to test and to know that. And unfortunately, the way that these houses are built is just like these houses are built for convenience and maximum profitability, and they give you a lot of they're easy to put up, they're easy to take down, they're easy to reconfigure and that, but they're made out of mold food, right? And there's not a lot of circulation going on in there. The humidity levels are too high in them, and it's for most houses. And when you've got pipes all over the place, that there's bound to be leaking and stuff there. Exactly.
Yep, your plumbing sweats, and if there's nothing to mitigate or absorb the sweating of your pipes, depending on the change of the seasons, you already have water. Nothing has to be leaking. Condensation is essentially being created on the surface of your pipes. without your knowledge behind your walls, and that's going to do something over time. So
so in 100 years, the building practices, the people will look back on what we are living in now and just be like, oh my gosh, like, are you kidding me? Like the way that we look back
disgusted.
on the way that we look back on doctors who were smoking while they were delivering babies. That's how people are going to look back on these and just be like, of course everyone was sick, everyone was breathing in mold all the time, and like our indoor air quality is so bad, especially in cold countries too, where you don't open the windows for 6 months of the year and you're just rebreathing the same stale air all the time. And so like having air filtration is critical, and like opening your windows every single day and getting fresh air is really important.
Can I ask this? Let's say I live in a moldy house, and then let's say I get a lump of a tumor, and then let's say I operate that part away, and then I fix the mold. Like, how long does the mold thing stay in the body? Do you know what I mean? Like, or can I? So is it permanent?
It's a genetic thing in a lot of sense, right? So it's bad for anyone to live in mold, right? So everyone will get some sort of symptoms if you're living in mold. For a lot of people, it would be like congestion, or you just don't feel that well. But then for most people, when you move out of it, your body is naturally able to get rid of things. In my situation, I first got exposed to mold when I was 10 years old. And I can remember where I went from being the top runner in my gym class to, like, within a period of like 6 months, I had to push myself so hard to beat the girls in this lap that we did every day at gym class. And I didn't understand what was wrong with me. And I can point it back to this big mold exposure that I got. So for me, it's like, if I had not figured it out and gotten these binders and got the toxins in, to me, like, I would have just kept on getting worse and worse and worse forever. For other people, once you move into a clean environment, you'll be able to just detoxify yourself over time and get better.
That was the other question I wanted to ask you. So you mentioned for the people that have the predisposition, yourself obviously included, there is a cholesterol medication that allowed the binding of and aid in detoxing that occurs naturally within the other 75%. One of the things that I've been paying quite a bit of attention to, and we don't need to segue here, it's related to an extent, and I'll land it once I finish my thought, but environmental poisoning comes in a lot of forms. There are things in the atmosphere, right, outside, outdoors, that are heavy metals. You can test soil. There's way too much aluminum in our soil, for example. So in some way, shape, or form, these things are being introduced into our bodies. They're bioavailable, meaning that the food that grows out of the ground now has it in its flesh, for example. So if you're eating a tomato or an apple or whatever, right? So we're ingesting things that we didn't normally ingest. And there is no natural remedy for that, for the most part, in the human body to pull metals and things that shouldn't exist out of our systems. So I've been looking into zeolites, which do bind to heavy metals, and you detoxify yourself the same way that you described. It's defecation or from sweating or whatever, but it binds to these things and removes them from your system. My question was because I'm super curious about this, what cholesterol medication is it that's doing this? That's amazing to me. Like, I find it super fascinating that something that was never designed to function in the way that you've described functions in the way that you've described.
Yeah, so it's called cholestyramine, is the generic term for it, and then there's also which is taken as a powder, and it's basically not used for cholesterol anymore because they have way more profitable drugs for cholesterol now. But so yeah, if you do look up cholestyramine, and then colesevelam is another one as well. They're both what's called a bile acid sequestrant. So it basically just means that they're able to bind to these toxins in your bile acids and defecate them from your body. But there's a number of other like natural binders that can help as well. It's just all the peer-reviewed published data is on these two prescription binders. Yeah, and so depending.
And that was my
on,
follow-up question. These are prescriptions, so you must be prescribed this in order to obtain it.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to. There are other types of binders, like activated charcoal is one of the more well-known ones, but okra is another one, and those will bind to heavy metals, to mycotoxins like mold as well too. Yeah. So there are more natural ways of doing it. They're just not as quick and efficient. And they don't have the clinical, scientific, medical backing of it. But it's really hard to know. Like I use a wide variety of them. I definitely for me the biggest impact definitely was when I started taking the prescription binders, and they're because they're really old repurposed drugs. Like no one's making money off of them anymore. So in some ways it's good because you don't need to worry about that it's someone tricking you into taking something that you don't need. But in other ways it's bad because there's no pharmaceutical company who can make any money off of this. So they're just bearing this because look, they can sell you sleeping pills and antidepressants and anti-anxiety. Like, this is not profitable. Chronic inflammatory response syndrome isn't profitable really for anyone, which is one of the big reasons why it's just not as well known as it is. But it's really crazy how many people are affected by this and
well, that is fascinating. It clearly has improved your quality of life, obviously.
Me, my kids got really sick as well too, and obviously my wife got sick too, and like seeing how quickly my kids responded to the binders and how quickly everything turned around for them was like miraculous. Like it was amazing. Like they went from OCD, anxiety, fatigue, chronic pain, like two little kids, like 5 and 7, to 2 months on the binders, and they're just like boom, their energy just exploded, and all their sort of mental health things just improved by 90%.
Yeah, that is amazing, and that's I mean, shout out to God for for allowing that to happen in your life and for your family. I just what a hell of a story, man. Laz had mentioned this to me a week ago. He's like, you're gonna end up meeting one of my buddies here. It's gonna talk to you about something. It's gonna make you go, what the fuck? And I mean, honestly, people are gonna be like, dude, mold, really?
Yeah. And Vince,
before your shared screen, let me ask Mike one more stupid question quickly. Let's say you have mold on your wall. How much does it help to open the windows? Like
a lot.
A lot.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So like you can't if you have mold, you can't just like let it be there and say, "Oh, my windows are open, I'm fine." But
it's better than nothing.
It is way, 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 way better.
And bleach, you can kill with bleach. It is alive.
So mold is alive. With chronic inflammatory response syndrome, we don't want to kill the mold. We want to extract and remove the mold. So when you kill it, it basically like just shoots out fragments all over the place.
Oh shit.
And so when you breathe those in, it like that can be like really traumatizing to your body. And so ideally what you want to do is don't think of like destroying the mold or killing the mold, but you need to like physically remove it out of there.
Interesting. Very good. Okay, Laz, your shared
I
screen.
just want to get to a couple of basics, right? Just so anybody watching this back, you can check links and stuff. So at a basic level, there's 13 clusters. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Maybe Mike can speak to this a little bit better, but basically of these, if you are experiencing 8, So 1 out of each of the 8 clusters. And there's an eye test that you could do. It's called a VCS test. I know when I first looked at it, so it's something that they use for pilots. At least that's what Mike and I say. But I think it was developed for pilots. It's like a grayscale test. If you fail that eye test and you have 8, basically, if you can check off one of these things out of 8 out of the 13, then there's
Can you zoom it in a little bit? No.
Yeah.
On
Then
your
there's
end?
yeah.
Oh,
let
no,
me.
probably not. Oh,
No, I can. Then
Let
there's
me
a
know when you've done
90.
it. Yeah.
Then there's a 90.
98.5% chance. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
98.5% chance.
Pretty specific and succinct. The 98.5% chance. So
yeah, so it's so the eye test he's talking about is really cool. It was invented by the military to test for biotoxin exposure to soldiers. And so when you have a mass amount of inflammation, your retinas get inflamed, and it ruins your ability to distinguish contrast. And so basically all it is it's a test that you can do on your computer that tests whether you can see contrasts in different grayscaled lines. And so if you
like
fail
with video games, when you have to set the
very very similar to that.
I probably already have.
Okay, like
sure I got a problem.
in the video games they say like move the thing until you barely see the symbol. Is it that type of a?
It's very similar to that. Yeah, and so the first 6 times that I did this vision contrast sensitivity test, I failed it miserably, and now I can pass it every single time, except if I get exposed to something. Like I went into a sauna and I felt horrible for a few days after, and I did the vision contrast sensitivity test and I failed it again, and that's how I knew, oh, I got exposed to something. So when you combine that test with those symptom clusters that he put up, so if you have symptoms in 8 out of those 13 different areas, so you combine those 2 things, there's a 98.5% chance that you have chronic inflammatory response syndrome. Now, if you have fewer symptoms or you pass the vision contrast sensitivity test, it doesn't mean that you don't have it. It's still possible that you do have it. It just means if you have both those things, it's 98.5%. And you can verify that with a combination of the genetic testing, and there's blood testing for it as well, too. It's just, this is a very easy thing that you can do online for free without having to go get your blood drawn and without having to really spend any money.
Yeah, and let me just give that link here as well, because I had it up. So Vince, if we can go back full screen on this. So it's called survivingmold.com. And this is Dr. Shoemaker. This is Dr. Shoemaker's, right?
Yeah, he started this site. He doesn't run it anymore, but this was his site that he started. He created the visual contrast sensitivity test. You can do it on survivingmold.com. It's $15 to do it there. I believe it's actually free right now, or at least it was a few weeks ago on beyondmold.com. If you go there, that one is a newer version of it. So that could be a good option as well. And it it takes about 20 minutes to do it. So don't do it when you're in a rush. Just do it when you've got some time.
And bottom line, the reason why they're not talking about this, again, to Mike's point, nobody's making money off of treating this. But more importantly, these clusters, it's much easier to put people on the medication that they're on for life. So let's say somebody has suicidal ideation or they have depression. They're just going to give you some mental health label, and they have to give you that label in order to give you the prescription drugs. And essentially, you're a cash cow. It's not nefarious by nature. It's just the way the system is made. So it's not that the doctors are trying to do that. It's just that's how they were taught. And that's the only solution they have for you. They're not taught to actually ask you, even questions like, how was your childhood? Do you have some sort of trauma? Or, but specifically around mold. And this is...
You know what I hate about the medical industry is like when they diagnose you and say you got cancer, they don't ask you like, how's your diet? How have you lived? Like la 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 la. They just treat it like you have a monster in your body and we're gonna try to kill it. But you got a monster and there's no way you can get that monster to be like reduced, or you know what I mean? Like they're just trying to keep you in a scare kind of a thing. You got a monster and let me radiate your ass, you know, or something.
And Vince, do me a favor. Can you pull up our Substack? Let's look at Translucid Season 1, Episode 9. That's the one that I did with Mike, because Mike had a really good deck in there. He did a presentation, which explains this, you know, from...
Season what? Season what?
Season 1, Episode 9.
Okay.
So anybody can go there as well, and you get a lot more information. And I send this to people like anytime they have some sort of autoimmune issue, because it chances are it's mold. Like literally.
Yeah, that's wild. Like it really could just be mold.
Yeah.
Which who's gonna think about that?
Right?
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
It? Would your doctor consider it?
No.
If you have a doctor?
No.
I don't have a doctor.
And
That's why this is
doctors are-
really valuable information. Yes.
Yeah, doctors are getting better about it. Like it's becoming more well known, but it's just like your traditional doctor. It just, you know, they like, just like they never received any education on nutrition, they didn't receive any education on this either, because it's relatively new, right? They just figured this out in the 90s. It takes a long time for this stuff to become more well known. It's one of those things we're going to look back on it and just think like, this was so obvious. How did we not know this? But for now, it's just
no wonder our ancestors never had it. They lived outdoors,
right?
Exactly. That's one of the big things is like our houses didn't used to be sealed so tightly, right? We used to have way more airflow, which would cut down on the amount of mold that was there, and also you'd be breathing in more fresh air. But the dangers of mold are mentioned even in the Bible. Like there's different references to it in the Bible. They'd say like, clean it out, and if it comes back within 7 days, then you need to burn down the structure.
Get rid of it.
And yeah,
Wow.
exactly.
It's a pestilence. It really is. Just wow, what a wild conversation.
And Papi Garcia, good point. I'm gonna put it so it's pinned on my profile right now, the live stream. So I'll put it as a comment there. Both the
In
episode
Twitter.
with Mike, in Twitter, and the episode with Mike has all the information underneath it. So
And I
that
could
tweet
post
itself.
these new links now. Where's a good place to post the link?
So if you go to my FastingFake, the pinned tweet, which is this live stream right now, you can post it underneath, and I'll do I'll do it in real time here as well. So both the clusters, and if you just do a search too for CIRS, CIRS, just like in the title, but there's lots of information out there. So let me pop that in, and
what do you want to search on this episode in the transcript?
So about an hour in, Mike does this presentation. I think you saw this. He because I showed you an example. Remember, he popped up, and you're like, "Oh, how did he do that?" Because he popped up in the presentation itself.
You talking about me?
Yeah. But it's okay.
Yeah.
He
But
said,
I
talking about me.
But I know you're talking about me.
You're talking about me, eh?
But about an hour and you'll see where he's presenting.
Okay.
The deck. Let's just play a little bit of that, because he explains it really well there, and I keep it kind of light, making fun of his slides. But yeah, it's look, the most important thing, and we talked about this too, is let's say a guy's having a hard time. Let's say he's exposed to mold. He doesn't know what this is. Let's say it's at work, and then he comes home, and all of a sudden he's getting, he's smashing shit around the house, right? Punching doors, punching walls, loses his wife, doesn't have access to his kids, feels suicidal. And it could just all be fucking mold, right? So it is when you think about during COVID, when they're giving these fucking bullshit tests out everywhere, if you were to actually give people this test, and it's a free test, right? Or $15, like this could literally save a ton of lives.
Okay. Should I play it?
Yeah.
Because I do not trust corporations. I do not trust media. I don't trust anything. But if I look at Google reviews or I look at Google reviews or I see stuff like this, I'm like, that's a real dude, solving a problem. So that's why I think this is a lot more powerful. You see how I tied that in there, Mike? You see what I did there?
Nice. Very nice.
All right.
Very nice.
Do you see the slide full screen?
I do. What is CIRS?
So
can I make fun of your slides to keep it light for all the people that?
Well, I didn't make these slides.
Okay, all right.
Shout out to the CIRS group.
The CIRS group, the podcast. Yeah, pop that in here.
Yeah, definitely. The CIRS group has been a huge help to me. They have a free podcast that they put out every week that they've been doing for 2 years now. They're in the top 1% of all podcasts on YouTube, and they have a support community at thecirsgroup.com. It's $35 a month, but it's so worth it for me. They have a class every month. They have 2 live Q&A sessions every month, and you get all the historical Q&A sessions and all the old classes and a full community there where you can ask people questions, and it's amazing. It's been a really big help to me, and I wouldn't be nearly as far along in my treatment as I am if it wasn't for the CIRS group.
Okay, but again, I will put it back. First of all, what are the ladies' names?
JC and Barbara.
Okay, and I remember you had an intention, and I was gonna go with you because you went to the CIRS X yearly conference, and you're like, man, it'd be so cool if I met him. And I told you, dude, you will. And then not only did you meet him, you went for dinner, you went for drinks. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because again, you give credit to other people, but it's all you because you kept searching and you're resilient and relentless, and you actually manifest that shit. You dope shit because you put yourself in a position to be dope.
Right, pause there.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I
put the interview underneath this pinned on my profile, and if you click on that, you'll see all the links underneath there as well. So it's basically, it reads like a book. It gives you all sorts of information, including how to get in touch with Mike and everything we pretty much talked about underneath there. What's interesting, Mike, is
I was just going to say, I posted the dust test on there that you can do. I also posted a link to the free vision contrast sensitivity test. And then there's also finally, Dr. Shoemaker has started a company where you can now use telehealth to get diagnosed with chronic inflammatory response syndrome, and you can get the prescription binders through them as well. So, I spent tons and tons of money with doctors getting this, and now I wish that this had existed back when I do. So they're only in the United States for now, but hopefully we'll be expanding soon. It's called Moldco, and they're doing really big things, and I'm so glad that they're around and they're using all of Dr. Shoemaker's research and bettering our cause and doing a lot of great work there. And so it's my CIRS doctor, I probably spent like $2,000 just in my first 2-hour visit with him with all the testing and everything. Whereas now with Moldco, you can just do an online thing. They'll get a prescription, they send you the medication in the mail, and you're out of there. You can get essentially fully cured for $1,000 or $1,200 rather than me, where I spent $2,000 just in my first appointment before I ever got anything out of it.
Dude, this is such good information, because now if I meet somebody that got cancer, I can say, have you checked if you got mold? And even if they don't have cancer, I can still say, hey, do you know that you can get cancer from mold in your house without not even knowing it? Like, this is super good.
Yeah.
Super good.
Now, as long as you don't go around like Trump pretending that you're a doctor and Jesus at the same time, Vince.
No, I won't do that. But this is really valuable. Yeah.
This is really valuable.
And the symptoms in kids, because kids can be really affected by this as well. And a lot of these kids that are getting put on ADHD medication and these types of things, it's just mold, right? And so the biggest symptoms that you see in them is if they are like basically bedwetting is one of the big ones. So if you have a kid that was bedwetting later than their peers was, the other one is like stomach aches and stomach problems. So if you have like either one of those two that go along with like ADHD or OCD or anxiety or something like that, I mean, it's almost always this. And you can do the vision contrast sensitivity with fairly young kids as well too. With them, instead of looking at 8 out of the 13 clusters, we say roughly like 5. If they have symptoms in 5 of it, it's a pretty good symbol of it. My daughter actually passed the vision part of it because she's an artist, and so artists and like really good athletes, their vision is trained a little bit different. So the vision contrast sensitivity test of it doesn't work as well. But once we did all the blood work on her, and because of her immediate response to the medication, it was clear that that's what it was.
And there's something important I want to address, and Mike, you can do this kind of sensitively. But when you and I first talked about it, right? Because it sounds like, oh, it all went really smoothly and then you got to figure it out. But you had to struggle a lot, even so. I can speak to my point because I also was tested for this genetically. I have it, and it's like, fuck, now I got to go through the protocol. But the protocol is pretty expensive. And so with my partner, when I mentioned it, it's like, oh, you're just like it not she's saying you're looking for another excuse, but it was just like I was getting pushback, right? Because fuck, it's like one more thing, so it's not this, but now it's that, and it's a really difficult thing. And I was talking to Mike about it as well, and Mike had a similar experience when he first came to, where I even doubted when he brought it to me, like, dude, like, are you just, not looking at, like, it's probably the other stuff that we talked about, right? So it's really hard when your own family member or your loved one is questioning you, and you know how you're fucking struggling and you're just trying to get help. But, as a man, it's very hard to spend on yourself when you got to take care of the family and you have all this other stuff too. So that's where, like, I don't know, Mike, if you want to talk about that in your experience, even in a sensitive.
Yeah, like for whatever reason, a lot of people respond to mold with like this sort of like, oh, that's crazy. That mold doesn't make you sick. There's mold everywhere. And one of the things that we've seen a lot is, especially with wives who are really, really sick, their husbands don't believe them that it's the mold. And even with kids, their parents don't believe them. With seniors, their children don't believe them. There's, as I'm sure you can imagine, there's a lot of really sad stories about like people who were so sick with the mold, the husband didn't believe them, and then she ended up going blind from it. And then finally, once they had the genetic testing, the blood testing, then the husband came around. And so, like, I think one of the reasons that I, as like a consultant, have a lot of success, especially with women whose husbands are having a hard time with it, because a lot of times it means like, oh, there's something wrong with your house and you need to do something to fix it. And that's not going to be cheap, or you need to move or do something like that, right? So there's a lot of resistance to that. And so, like, I think it's helpful for husbands to see me, who has like been through this, and hear my story, and then that really helps them come along. And even for my wife, when I first figured this out, I was so excited that I'd finally figured out what was wrong with me. And when I told my wife, she kind of like was like, oh, like kind of rolled her eyes at me, like didn't really believe it. And if it hadn't been for the fact that I saw the symptoms in my daughter, and then I did the genetic testing on my daughter, it was when I did the testing on my daughter that I saw that my daughter had it from both sides, meaning that my wife had the genes for it as well. And then as I started doing research and talking to the top doctors and medical researchers about cancer and that, I talked to Dr. Shoemaker and I told him about my wife has this really, really rare oral cancer that only lifelong old man smokers and alcoholics have. And then there's also like there's a subset in India where people do this specific chewing tobacco. And like those are the only times you ever see this rare oral cancer. So every doctor that saw her was just like, I've never seen anyone like you that has this. And so when I told Dr. Shoemaker, he said, oh, whenever I see that, it's always actinobacteria. And actinobacteria is this type of bacteria that forms in water-damaged buildings. And so I told my wife this, so we did the test for her, and it's a skin test where you just swab behind your ear and you send it into a lab and they test for this level of actinobacteria that you have. And hers was 400 times the healthy controls. And it was at that point that she was like, okay, you know what, you were right. And then once she saw how well my daughter and I responded to the treatment, that was when she came around. So it's like, I know what it's like to have someone who doesn't believe you, and like, this is how much it took for my wife to actually come around to this. So I get why so many people are skeptical about this. I thought that people that worried about mold were crazy too before all this, right? Like, I don't know why I felt like that, but it was just what I thought. And so it takes a lot for people to see it. And oftentimes when you're going through it and you are so exhausted and your brain is so foggy, it's so difficult to explain to someone what, like, you know, in a way that they can understand that this is actually the root cause and that you need their help to get through this. So yeah, there's a lot of things about it that make it challenging. And I think that's why, you know, it's helpful. That's why I do what I do. You know, like this has completely changed my life around. Like I'm an MBA. I worked in the Fortune 500 corporations doing marketing my whole life. I'm a business school professor. Like, I never thought that this is what I was going to do. But once you see this and you figure this out, and I see the impact that I can make on people's lives, and I see what it did to me and my son and my daughter and my wife, like, if I hadn't figured this out, all four of us would be suffering in misery right now. But I figured it out, and I healed all of us. And so now it's just like, it's my life's work is to do this. Like, you know, my life calling was not to market video games to kids. Like, this is what my life was for.
Can I ask one more stupid question?
Yeah.
How fast can it go? For example, how much do I need to be exposed to the mold for it to cause major fucked up stuff?
So, like, what it depends, like everything, right? It depends on, like, how much mold there is, how long, like, if you're in there for a minute versus if you sleep in one room overnight. It depends on your genetic predisposition, if you're able to clear it or not. Like, for me, when I first got affected by it, and this is a crazy story. I went to Egypt in 1989 with my parents. And I went into the pyramids and into these ancient tombs where you can imagine the air quality in these places is horrible. And there's this thing called the Pharaoh's curse. And so all these ancient people that used to break into these tombs and these pyramids and steal all the gold and everything. They would all get really sick. Insane. And people called it the Pharaoh's curse. And so my favorite memory of Egypt as a kid was this time that I would spend, like, deep inside the pyramids. And it was just like, it was amazing as a kid to see all this. But when I got home from that vacation, I told that story about my gym class, like, I was a different person. I had no cardio endurance anymore. And so for me, it was just like a few hours, even as a 10-year-old, just breathing in this, you know, 1,000-year-old air that was just full of mycotoxins is what did it. And so now, even if I spend 30 minutes in a moldy sauna, like, that will mess me up for weeks and months. So I have to be really, really careful now. But now, like, I'm never going in a sauna again. Like, in January I went into, like, what I thought was like a brand new, like, clean sauna, but, you know, within a few days I was feeling horrible, and I just looked back at it.
So are you saying you have to be careful with saunas? Because I had this image of saunas being just all healthy, you know, because saunas
are great for you, but they're also, you know, it's wood, and they're getting wet all the time, and there's sweat on there. So like you have to take care of it really, really well. You have to make sure that they're drying properly, that they're cleaning well. So if it's like a personal sauna that people have and it's fully drying out after every time you use it, that's great. Mine was at a gym, so it was just like there's people sweating on this 20 hours a day, and it was never drying out, right? So even though they, you know, they meant well, they took good care of it, they thought it's almost impossible to have a situation like that where the humidity is so high and it's wood and it's constantly damp. It's just a matter of time for that to happen.
An ignorant guy like myself would think like it's too hot for anything bad to be in there, you know?
Yeah,
it's too hot.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, mold doesn't mind the high heat.
Got it. Interesting. Good. I've learned a bunch of shit now. My ignorant ass has learned.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought in a million years that I would know this much about this stuff, but you know, once I figured it out and once it turned around my life, and you know, I realized myself, my wife, and my kids, we all have this. It's like I got to do everything I can to learn this, and then to spread the word about it to everyone. And it's important. It's completely changed my life. But it's really meaningful work that I do, and you know, I really think that we're gonna look back on this in a few years and be like, wow, I can't believe, you know, how little we knew about this and what a huge impact it was having. And you know, it's only very recently that government agencies have acknowledged that exposure to mold causes cancer and it causes all these things. And so we're actually working right now and putting through different policies that are going to help a lot. Yeah. So like right now, there's no official like like what's called an ICD-10 code, essentially like a medical code for insurance to acknowledge that this is a real condition. So right now we're working through legislation to get that through. And
you should get that to RFK Jr. or something.
We're on his radar. And he's been really, really helpful with it.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What a hell of a ride, Mike, that you've been on. And then you know, to have this story, and just to this, I wanna make this point quickly about men and men finding themselves in situations they feel that they're not in control of. Some of them succumbing to suicide. Imagine for a moment that what Mike is describing, for a lot of men that do suffer from something that they can't explain, that they don't understand, that medical professionals aren't able to diagnose for them, could simply be suffering from something as simple as this. That's an environmental factor that they could mitigate and could save so many lives, could save so many relationships. As Laz pointed out, you know, you're in a relationship, it's already kind of rocky. You got a lot of things you're stressed out about. You come home, and the next thing you know, you lose your fucking mind. You start punching holes and shit. And now you have to deal with, as a human, you have to process the thing that just happened, that you created, that you don't understand why you created, which is compounding now, right? Now that's piled on top, and you're just trying to deal with all of this shit. And it could be something as simple as this that changes the game for you, for your family, for your life, for your children, right? So just what a hell of a ride you've been on, man. And I'm glad that I had the opportunity to be able to have this conversation with you, man. It's mind-blowing to me.
And this should spread. This fucking info should spread.
Yeah,
because I don't want my brothers, you know, killing themselves for any reason, right?
Yeah.
I certainly don't want I don't want this information to not be spread far and wide if it can save just one of them.
Right?
Yeah.
So
I
shout out
appreciate
to you for sharing
it,
man.
Yeah, thank you. And you know, it's
you're gonna get an applause. Hold on. There you go.
Yeah, so like my hope is that I'll really be able to spread the word and get this much more into the mainstream over the next few years, and so this will just feel like common sense in the not too distant future.
Yeah,
dude, it can help so many fucking people, man.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah,
Crazy.
absolutely. And I mean, like I said, just from my point of view, just mind blown on this. Like, this is the thing. It's real, right? It could be affecting me. I don't know. I'm going
Right
to
now.
find out.
Yeah. Right now it could.
I'm going to find out, but absolutely could be affecting me. I have had
And your kids.
plenty of examples throughout my life where I felt that a situation that occurred in my life was completely out of my control, completely uncharacteristic of me,
Yeah.
that I still to this day can't explain if I tried to. And maybe this is, not to say, okay, just as Mike had mentioned, like, okay, somebody else might see that. Okay, this is a crutch for you. You're using this as an excuse to absolve yourself of your behavior. Pump the brakes. No. It could be seen that way, sure. I can understand and play devil's advocate on the flip side of the coin that somebody that had experienced, abhorrent behavior from somebody that wasn't easily explained would go there. That's natural. I get it. But what if, right? What if?
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah.
Right on. Right on.
Wow.
And I really appreciate, Mike, you being so vulnerable. You and I have these conversations on a regular, and look, I'm still going through this with Mike. I'm a lot farther back, and part of the issues that I have is, like, Mike constantly reminds me, because I have this stuff. I have it in the form of well call, and he's like, "Hey, are you taking your well call?" And I'm like, "Fuck, I'm not," And it's like, it's at times it's like life and everything else gets in the way, and you're thinking about everybody else, and it's much easier to worry about other people's problems than yourself. And again, if you're not getting that support, like, this is where you really just have to do your research and just be very, it's almost like when you first awaken to any conspiracy, and you can't fire hose anybody. You just got to keep it to yourself. Just do your research and just be consistent and build that habit. And even on this, Mike, like, I'm gonna double up, and I'll check in with you next week, because I'm like, man, I was doing so well for a while there, and this is going to segue into the next conversation, because we have another topic. But I really appreciate you being so vulnerable and sharing this, because this is really going to help a lot of people. And hopefully we get you on more podcasts. And dude, I've been telling you for years now, start a podcast, right? You see, it's pretty easy, right? I hope this gives you a good taste.
Dude, we can teach you all you need.
People have been telling me that for a while. Here I am.
We literally have a fourth spot, because we just got it for this EV Mox. So I can just send it to your email, and we can get you up like by next week, dude.
And I already got a training video that I recorded with Orwellian, Laz, and another guy called JT.
Nice.
And
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's definitely it's on my plan to launch a podcast where I talk about chronic inflammatory response syndrome and have all the top doctors and everyone on it.
There you go.
So I really appreciate you guys having me on here. And just so, like, the medication that Laz is talking about is Welchol, which is the trade name for colesevelam, which is that prescription binder.
Yeah. And all it is, like, you need a prescription, but, like, you go to your family doctor, you explain to them what it is. This is the research. If you have a even half decent family doctor, it'll be like, okay, maybe he might say, okay, well, let's limit you to 1 month or 2 months. Let's test it out. See how. It's funny how they'll be very careful about this drug, but not like an SSRI or something else that they would give you for the same fucking issue. But you got to be pushy. You got to be your own advocate.
Yeah. You can. Laz is right. You can, if you have a decent family doctor or primary care physician, if you just talk to them through it, and just show them a little bit of research, bring in like one of the peer-reviewed papers or something like that, they'll often give it to you. And the drug itself is very, very cheap, because it's off patent. But it's funny, like Laz says, my first doctor put me on antidepressants after a 5-minute conversation.
Yeah.
And yet, like, I deal with my clients trying to get their doctors to prescribe them this, which, like, the worst case scenario, it's going to lower your cholesterol a little bit, and it's like freaking pulling teeth.
Rough.
But you put them on like amphetamines or something like that, or ADHD medication or antidepressants that you're going to be on for your whole life. It's just like, oh yeah, sure, you can have that. But guys,
I'll be back. I got to check on a bump in the night.
All right.
Yeah.
All good.
So,
and then this, go ahead.
Go.
No, sorry, go ahead.
No.
Because I was gonna segue based on this to something else, but
let's go to the other topic as well. Cover that, and then
okay.
And then after the stream, send Mike the training video and all that shit. Yeah.
I mean, it's I'm opening the door for him, and I'm gonna keep bugging him weekly as soon as he's ready.
Yeah.
But you know me, I'll push him.
But you can still send the link to the training video whenever you want to watch it.
Yeah.
So he gets the idea, because right now, when you don't know things about these things, it feels too complex. But if you see the training video, you're like, oh, it's not that hard. So that makes it.
Mikey, it's like, think about all the different PowerPoint, Google slide, like Canva, all of it mixed together. This thing does it's ridiculous what it can do for podcasts.
Awesome.
Like even your presentations can go in here.
Oh yeah, easily.
All right, so there's 2 videos I wanted to show you. I wanted to talk about men leaving relationships. Again, my brother sent me both these videos, and it's just funny because it gets you thinking. So maybe let's watch the first of the 4 that I sent you.
Is it
the quickest way?
Yeah.
Wives cause divorces.
Okay. Let's see. Let me just make it a little bit bigger. Okay.
I've spent hours with divorcing men of all income levels, from billionaires to millionaires to, the very working class earlier in my career. And they all tell me the same story. And that story is some variant of that she's not grateful at all anymore. Like, there was a time where I was her hero and now I'm not. And that's what the girlfriend is. Like, don't kid yourself. The girlfriend half the time is nowhere near as hot as the wife. But you know what she is? She's grateful. She's grateful. She's grateful. She's effusive in her gratitude. She makes him feel like a hero. She squeals with delight at his jokes, at his whatever. She's just delighted, as opposed to irritated, short-tempered, talking about all the things she doesn't have. Like, you ever want to just wreck a guy's day? Tell him that, like, oh yeah, like Karen got this, and so not, and you're like, and he's like, well, you said you wanted that, so I got you this instead. Like, and it's such a, you listen to it and you're just like, why would you do that? Why would you do that to that guy? Like, he wouldn't come, I mean, ideally he wouldn't come home and go like, I saw Steve's wife. Wow. She is looking good, like, you would, because how would that make you feel? It would make you feel small. It would make you feel awful.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
We men don't do that, right?
No, because logically, like, you just think in your head, like, why would I fucking hurt her feelings like that? And Furry says not all wives, Laz, and fair enough. But then the Dead Game says just most. And look, I'm not putting down wives, but there is, when men go, for example, to strip clubs, they never ask for wife treatment, or if they go to a brothel or something, they never ask for wife treatment. They ask for girlfriend treatment. And there's a reason for that. And look, I only bring this up just because of the nature of the conversation. If you're in a situation where you're not being supported and you're like, for fuck's sakes, like, I'm trying to help myself so I can help the family, then take the space you need, or get the girlfriend that'll fucking support your fucking crazy idea of healing yourself, no matter how crazy it is.
And then there's one. Did we shift into another topic?
Well,
yeah. Men leaving relationships is the second
Just wanted
half.
to make sure. And shout out to the chat, guys. We're watching you. We know you're.
Yeah. Vince told us, do not talk to them. Do not talk to them.
Yeah, don't talk to the chat. Never.
Yeah, we can all slap Vince's pee-pee.
Yeah,
we're paying attention to you. We love you guys.
But how much is it that, the girlfriend is not as used to you as your wife is? Like your wife, you spent probably years, decade, and what is it called when you get used to somebody and you start to treat them not as good?
But let's just say this, Vince. Do you do that to your wife? Because
what?
That you would treat her worse over years. Because I would venture that men lean in even more, and just fucking, all right, whatever you say, dear. Whereas you don't put up with that stuff, like you have a lot, let's just say you have more options, you have more boundaries while you have a girlfriend. And then as a wife, you just kind of, it doesn't matter. Like a lot of stuff, if it's neither here nor there, it's not worth the argument. You pick your battles, you have your fucking man cave, maybe your garage, and you just kind of, your boys' night, and you can justify a lot of things. So it doesn't go both ways. And the next video is perfect. I'm really glad that you bring this up. Again, my brother sent me this, and I'm like, oh, you know what? Let's talk about this a little bit.
Okay, so this one. Is it that one? Okay.
Yeah.
Way to know if you're a terrible person is if your man leaves the relationship. Like if your boyfriend breaks up with you, you gotta be terrible. Because men don't leave relationships. We just fucking hold on for dear life. We just ride it out till we die or some shit. Like you gotta leave because we're not fucking leaving. We just sit there and take the fucking mental torture all the time. So if your man left, you must be from the deepest, darkest corner of hell.
So I mean, he's exaggerating. It's fucking funny, but
correct. But there's some truth in there.
Yeah.
So you see these videos, right? The reason why I'm not on TikTok, the first reason is I'm not allowed on TikTok because they don't tolerate some of the things that I talk about. But I see these TikTok videos will get populated in X and everywhere else. People, whatever, they snap their little things and they come up and I see them and it's all this whinging and bitching and complaining. I love whinging. Shout out to, shout out to England and the people that came up with that term. But yeah, and whinging.
What does it mean?
About?
Whinging?
It's just bitching and complaining.
Okay.
Whinging is just a goofy way of saying I'm fucking crying about something.
Mike is making notes. Whinging.
Videos. I'm crying.
W-I-N-G.
Right? I'm so offended or this or that. Then you see the other videos. How to keep your man happy if his tummy isn't full and he doesn't have empty balls, right? You see all that bullshit. But you see a video like this and I'm like, you know what? I know he's embellishing a little bit, but there's truth sprinkled in there because we've all fucking been there. We've all been there. No, we don't leave. We don't. And if we do, there is something seriously wrong. If I have to fucking check out, there's something incredibly fucking wrong.
Yeah.
If I need to replace you, somebody that I love,
that
I no longer feel the reciprocation from, but I still have needs. And you need to be replaced by something that I never wanted to even have to do, there's a reason for it. It's not justification for my behavior or what I'm doing. It's me meeting my needs because my needs are no longer being met by the person that I quote unquote love, right?
And not even wants.
Sometimes though, how do you know that you're actually loving her? Because I had one relationship where I realized it was all about the sex, and it was so fucking good. But I
have one of those, and I happen to. She gave birth to 3 beautiful children of mine, I've actually been stabbed by this woman. We're not together.
Whoa.
That's
Stabbed.
that must have been some good sex then. Because it's it's always the crazy ones.
I still to this day,
no disrespect, but
love her.
Yeah.
I still love her. I still care about her life. I care about what happens to her. And it's not just because we have children in common. There was a bond there that can't be broken.
Yeah.
It can't. Yeah. There's been a rift. Things have clearly changed.
But stabbing you though?
Yeah, I got stabbed. Yeah.
What the
with a,
fuck?
Not with a
what
knife.
did you do? That's what guys
Butcher
say.
block
What
scissors.
did you do?
Yeah,
what
exactly.
did you do to deserve that?
You earned it, right? And I probably did.
You don't need to. You don't need to share that
Dude,
shit, Orwellian. Just know, you know. Sometimes you might not notice. This is a broadcast, you know, and sometimes you might somebody ask a question.
Look at Mike's face.
Yeah,
like he
yeah,
got
yeah. It's a joke. Yeah.
Still love her, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I mean is like I realized, okay, this is all just sex. So let me get the fuck out of this thing, you know? It took 2-3 times, you know.
Just to scratch that itch.
Say that again?
Sometimes the girlfriend is just to scratch that itch. It's not really about anything other than your needs not being met. So some men, that's a need, right? It's a box that's not being checked. We're not intimate in that way. We're not physical, right? That could be a deal breaker for some people. For other people, it could just be conversation and entertaining. Like Laz said, the crazy shit that goes through my head.
Dude, just look at Dead Gabe. He goes, that means she loves you, man. And then he goes, needs.
Stabbing.
Yeah. And then he goes, needs.
Dad knows what's up.
He goes, piss on your needs. You got a wife and kids that have those first. But this is the mentality that guys have. Like, fuck it. I'm just going to endure. Right? So if a guy actually leaves, like, shit really got real.
Right. But and why wouldn't I? Dude, this woman never met a vehicle she couldn't destroy, murder in cold blood. Right? So while I'm already trying to maintain all this other stuff, I constantly have to fix a vehicle for this woman that eventually stabbed me. Still love her. Don't care. Did it because it needs to be done. Right? Like, it just, you know, it's not, again, nothing is universal. It's not mutually exclusive to me or to Laz or to anybody else. We have a lot of things that we share in common when it comes to the way that we feel and what it would take to leave a relationship. But at the end of the day, needs being met, I think, is critical. It's crucial. And if you're not communicating them, or even if you do and they're ignored, what is a man going to do? He's going to find a way to have his needs met in some way, shape, or another. And one of the easiest things that women look at, especially with these videos that I mentioned, is it's all about sex to them. He's just trying to get laid. He's just trying to get his wiener wet. When at the end of the day, it's much, much deeper than that.
Yeah.
That might be, you know, how a man goes and gets his itch scratched. But that's not really what he's missing. It's just a way to change the way he feels.
Yeah, and Laz, how many more videos are left?
That's it.
That's it.
It says Google it. I love that.
That's it. And the only thing I was going to say is one of the biggest needs of men is respect, right?
100%.
And if you're going through it and you literally, like, you can't even have the respect of like, fuck, I need help and I'm trying to heal.
But remember though, you got to be respect worthy to get the respect.
I mean, that's a fair point, but
Vince, you're right. You're right. And totally understand. But part of that is like when you literally go out of your way and you'll fucking take the shirt off your back and do everything you can.
That's respect worthy.
Then at the very least, when you're struggling, it's not like, okay, so put it this way. If you're going through it as a man, let's say you're just awakening, right? Because you're fucking looking down a bunch of rabbit holes. And you're told to just, well, go talk to a therapist. What the fuck is a therapist going to help you with the shit that you're looking at? Unless that therapist is actually looking at those same rabbit holes.
Sometimes good friends like this can be way better than fucking
It's actually free therapy, and that's the point of
exactly
having this conversation every Saturday night.
Yeah.
So, and then the same thing too, right? Like if you're fucking ridden with mold and you're trying to get rid of it, it's like no amount of talking is gonna fucking fix that problem. And Mike is a prime example of that, right? Like in terms of the years that he spent struggling, and you know, you have to systematically go through it. And carnivore was a big, you know, red herring for him because he felt good, and then all of a sudden but then it came back, right? And so it's like you and I'm not saying like this is not at all. You guys know this stream is never about bashing women. It isn't. But it is to help men, because we can only speak on the men's experience, the male experience, and you know, it was said in the comments before. It is what it is. Krem said it. That's what we do. We say it is what it is. Like you know, Mike and I check in, and it's like, well, I feel like shit. You know, fucking thing about keep it moving. Killing myself. Yeah. Well, all right, it is what it is. How do we fucking deal with it? You know, and it's like we put some really heavy shit on each other, but just the act of letting that out, it's like next time we talk, it's like, oh, it's actually slightly better. That's a good sign. You know, and I think more men need to be able to do this, to have these conversations. And when we first started it, I was going through it like majorly. And I remember Mike going to me, how can you do this going through what you're going through? And I said, because the fact that you're fucking having it worse is makes my shit seem better. You know, like it's just like, it is what it is. So
an interesting thing, like with talking about therapy, is, you know, I did a lot. I basically started therapy as soon as I could afford it. Like I started going when I was young because I felt like I needed it. I knew there was something wrong with me, and I researched every way that I could to get better, and therapy was one of the big ones. And, you know, I saw quite a few different therapists over time, and without me telling them what the other therapists had diagnosed me with, all of them pointed to my parents as the issue for why I was so sick and why I was having so many problems. And it really built up a lot of resentment in me towards my parents, to the point that like I didn't really want to see my parents for Christmas. And you know, like I think because of what I was going through even as a teenager, with my anxiety and my fatigue and everything, like I had a lot of issues and, you know, problems getting along with my parents and that. But once I figured out chronic inflammatory response syndrome, and once I got out of the mold and got the mold out of my system, like my resentment towards my parents has completely gone away, and my relationship with them is now the best that it's ever been, to the point where like I can spend a month living in the same like small little lake house as them and not get in any argument, whereas before I couldn't spend an hour with them getting in an argument. And so, you know, like I really bought into a lot of what the therapists were saying, and even though they meaned really, really well, and sure, I did learn a lot from it that I think helped me in the long term, but you need to be really, really careful with that. And even like I did couples counseling with my wife as well too. And, you know, I think if I had figured out chronic inflammatory response syndrome first and then done couples counseling, it would have helped me a lot more. But almost all of the problems in my relationship with my wife went away as well with it. And it's actually quite common in the CIRS world for people to say that like cholestyramine, this prescription binder, saved their marriage. And like, you know, my wife has said that, and a lot of people in the community say the same thing, that it completely saved their marriage, because, you know, I was unbearable for me to live in my skin. So I can only imagine what it was like for her to live with me. And, you know, talking it over with a therapist was just, it was so difficult for me, because it felt like the therapist was always just taking her side, because I was this like strong looking guy and she's this like pretty woman. And, you know, I needed help and support. And, And yet with the therapy, all it was like, Mike needs to change. Mike needs to change. He has to stop doing this. He has to start doing this. And I'm like, look, I'm suicidal here. Like, I don't know how much more I can take out the garbage and do the dishes and do all this stuff. Like, it's like, I need help here. And, you know, I just wasn't getting it that way.
Interesting.
So it's, yeah.
Okay, so no therapy, people. Just get it with good friends and also check for mold.
Yeah, and with that, Mike, you are officially invited to come back any fucking week to this. Because not even just CIRS, but just in general, men helping men be better for women and children.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'll definitely take you up on that.
It's the whole point,
Absolutely. Man. This was a pleasure. And any final words before we wrap this shit?
Just wondering, did the morning wood come back, Mike?
Yes, definitely.
Right, good.
Definitely.
That all is good.
And it also, I will say, like, even if you're in your 40s, if your testosterone levels are elevated, like, you should not necessarily morning wood every day, but just at least start noticing it. Like, if you think about it now and you go a month without having morning wood, like, likely your testosterone levels are low.
Yep, alarm bells should go off.
By the way, Mike, I think when you go like this to this camera, it'll zooms, come in. Right? It zooms in and it zooms out. You've been doing it the whole time because of your hand gestures. See, Vince can do it. So you automatically are zooming in and out like a professional, man.
I think my P1000 will do that if I set that up.
P2000? What did you say? P1000?
My P1000, my Globe Buster camera.
Don't bring in that. I don't know if Mike has heard about that shit. And
yeah, we could talk about that.
Yeah.
Well, no,
time, right?
maybe yeah. We give him hints, just little. It's just like Gareth.
Just
you know,
nuggets.
Gareth is now just nuggets. But Poppy, I know you asked me to send it to you guys. Check out my pinned tweet, Fasting Fake. It's under there. I have my episode, The Translucid with Mike. It's also on Phone Booth Podcast.substack.com. Soon I'll put it on Fasting Fake.
There's going to be a Substack for Fasting Fake.
Yeah, and one for Translucid.
$5 Morning Wood. Shout
Morning
out
Wood. But it's all under there, guys. It's on my pinned tweet. I'll keep it on there tomorrow as well. And dropping Haywood probably on Monday. Yeah.
All right, okay. All right. So long, everybody. so long.
Wait, can we play your issues? Can we play your issues? Do you have it there?
It's super loud.
You got issues.
Let's go, man.
You got issues. You got issues.
This is actually a song, Mike. So he's a master composer. He does classical. Well, he's like...
Yeah, I wouldn't call that a master composition. That's a simple pop song. But I can definitely do high-level classical shit. But
speaking of high-level, can you please just play us out with that fucking your what'd you call it, Dogman? When you're in the mall, when you're doing that stuff.
No. We're not doing that.
Come on.
No, we're not doing that.
What, you shy all of a sudden?
Dude, yeah, I'm very shy. It's gonna start a conversation and all that shit.
No, we just play out with that, and that's it.
Yeah, play it out. We'll talk about it.
Just
backstage.
play it out. Yeah, just play it out, man. And that's it. Once it's done, it's done. Yep. Okay.
Well, this is a very old video where I was even more crazy than I am today.
And it just, this dude can dance too.
No, that's not dancing at all.
And Mike, he has a wife. He is not gay. He acts very gay. He's just Swedish.
He's definitely not gay.
I'm definitely not.
He does eat his Snickers upside down. He eats his Snickers upside down, but he's not gay.
Yeah, don't make me prove shit.
We don't need to.
I don't need to. Okay, so this is.
And thank you everybody in the chat. Really appreciate it. We literally see all your messages, guys. We just made it a point to try to stay on topic. Like we knew this was a really important one.
I'll put it in between us.
Hell yeah, let's go in between.
There we go.
Hey, look, don't shake your head just yet. There's a dildo on a necklace. Okay?
Necklace dildo.
Yeah. And the dildo means dick man. gayest thing ever.
There's definitely gators.
Fucking laugh. Fucking laugh.
Even that heel turn is fucking fire.
This is just a jokey techno song.
Hell yeah.
Bray said I've seen gayer.
This is so retarded. I can't believe I did this.
Sexy baby.
You can.
I can believe it.
They're like, who is this fucking pervert? Oh yeah, this is, I think 2011 or 10.
That's what I'm talking about, bud.
It even looks like a weird
dude. I love Is this what an aneurysm feels like?
Yeah, probably.
I smell burnt toast. Is that a problem?
But I will say this before we go. I will say this. When you do, you know, what would you say, embarrassing stuff like that,
Yep.
it frees you. It really
It
does.
Of course. It really does.
You know, you become very free.
It's quite liberating.
Yeah,
just be
exactly.
Like, this is me. It's who I
Yeah.
am. I don't care.
Yeah, because once you've done that shit, there's only up. You
What
can
else
only
do
go
they have?
up.
Yeah,
You know?
the trajectory is going to definitely be on the upward path after that. Pretty awesome, though, man. And thanks for sharing that.
was
That's cool.
That was awesome. And
Well-
one more thing I want to say too, Frey. Cheers to your dad, Wayne. Thanks for sharing. Rest in peace. And
yeah,
everybody in the chat, thanks so much.
Right on. Okay. See you guys next week. Peace.
Yeah.
All right, peace.
Catch you
Thanks
next
again, Mike.
Saturday. Love you.
Peace.